This is kind of like a mocktail. This is a mocktail.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Dude, cheers.
Yeah,
thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Thanks for being
great.
here. Yeah, I made this for someone else earlier this week, and he took one sip and he was like, "I'm good." I was like,
Really?
"All right, I'll save it for Austin." And then when I was going through your Instagram last night, I saw that you had got some mojitos from someone. I was like, "Oh yeah, Austin will be down to have some jalapeno lemonade with me."
Yeah, I can't handle my spice like most people, but I do enjoy the sensation.
It's a little spicier than I thought it was going to be. I followed the recipe to a T because I was curious how it was going to turn out. And when I took the first sip, I was like, and I added probably another cup or two of water to it. It was deathly. Like, it
Are we
was.
able to turn it down a little bit?
No.
No, really? I was like, wait a second.
How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Can you hear yourself?
There we go. Okay. There we go. I can hear myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How do you feel?
I feel loose. And I feel like my mouth is tingling.
From the drink or from nervousness?
From the drink, yeah. This is like, I didn't know I was going to be on an episode of Hot Ones.
Well, there's some water down there, and I have many other drinks, so if you need like some milk to so
I was hoping for ice cream, but I'll settle for milk.
I have some mint chocolate chip ice cream.
I was kidding, but hey, we can celebrate later.
Okay, cool. We'll bust out the ice cream later.
Ice cream party, let's go. It's a Friday.
And you're not on your sugar-free thing right now?
No, that was just 1 month, and I was fine with it just being for 1 month.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. I chuckled a little bit over your video when you got the cookie and you got your first dessert for the dude. I felt that video so hard. I was like, I've never done this, but if I went 30 days with no sugar, because like every now and then I have like some fucking like chocolate sauces I'll put in my coffee to make like a homemade mocha or whatever. Sugar.
Yeah.
I always have ice cream in the freezer. Sugar. Cup of sugar in the jalapeno lemonade.
Oh, no.
And this cold brew, is there sugar in here? Yup, 7 grams. Shouldn't be cursing for the first 10 minutes of this, but that's fine.
Let me tell you, shopping was a problem. Eating out was impossible. But I came out stronger because of it, I would say.
Yeah.
But I respect the people who live the sugar-free lifestyle now because of it. I will have to preface and say it was no added sugar because I did eat fruit, and people online gave me some flack for that one.
No,
It's okay.
screw those guys. Are you a nicotine fiend at all?
I've been zinning a little bit.
There's some zins down here if you want. I'm going to read your intro first because I can't read intros with a zin in my mouth. But then
Sure.
as soon as I'm done, I'm popping like 6 of those. So
I see that those are the 6 milligrams, and I will probably have to pass on the 6 milligrams. I haven't graduated from the 3s.
get out of here.
I know.
It's only mint allowed in my
I did pop.
Damn, I feel bad now. And usually what's funny about that is I always usually keep 1-3 tucked away in here somewhere for people like you.
I have them in my car, but I was just thinking like, I don't need it. I had one on the way here. We'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be good.
I'll be good. I can survive.
All
Not
right.
that it's a problem.
It might be a problem for me. I've been thinking about cutting myself off from these things. And, well, as you can see, there's 3 cases here in 3 different flavors. So,
Yeah, respect the game.
before I do the music and read your intro, is there any particular time that you want to be done by? Or are you just flowing?
I'm flexible. Yeah.
All right.
We could go to the AM if we need to.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Austin.
We'll
I don't know if you scrolled through the episodes, but there's a couple 4-hour ones in there.
Oh, wow. That's
I don't think we'll go for that long, but
giving Joe Rogan a run for his money.
there was one that the longest one I think was 4.5 hours, and they did
Wow.
say in that one they were like, I think they said Joe's longest one was 5 hours and 12 minutes, and so they were like, let's just go for 35 more minutes and we'll beat them. And I was
Wow.
like, guys, I'm done. We were also drinking that episode. We were zens that episode. I was like, when they said that, it's like 1 a.m. I was like, we're stopping this thing. Like, we're finished. And so Joe still has to be beat.
Yeah, you don't need to break records here. You
No,
proved
we do.
yourself. You do, yes. I mean, we could go 24 hours. Let's get Guinness on this. I mean, it's recorded, I guess.
I don't even know if I'd want to. I don't even know who I could go that long with. I guess tonight, we'll see what happens with us. Maybe my buddy Tyler. I could see him and me going for a solid 6 hours, maybe.
Impressed. No stretching and like no breaks, nothing.
I mean, we can take bathroom breaks.
Okay.
And you can take bathroom breaks tonight, by the way, if you want. You don't have
Okay.
to just hold it in the entire 2 hours.
Thank you. I didn't know if you're gonna hold me in my chair.
No, I'll
against
get
my
you a
will.
little cup. Point the cameras up so they can. You're a good guy. This is going to be a fun episode. I'm looking forward to this.
I am too.
Are you ready?
Let's get started.
All right, everyone. Welcome to David's Saturday Night Sit Back, and thank you for tuning in this afternoon. Joining me in the studio is Austin Burton, a.k.a. Call Me Birdie, a.k.a. The Pool Boy. Austin's roots lie in St. Louis, Missouri, where he grew up before moving to Fort Worth, Texas to graduate from the Texas Christian University with his BBA in Information Systems and Supply Chain Management. After that, he migrated to Dallas and then eventually Austin, Texas. He dabbled in marketing, business development, and business operations through a variety of internships before becoming a user experience analyst for the nation's largest healthcare performance improvement company. During the height of the pandemic, Austin founded BirdsEye Lifestyle as a way to express belief and inspire creativity in others. I'm curious to find out more about this man sitting across from me because he's been doing a variety of challenges such as winter cold plunges, going on long alcohol-free stints, month-long challenges such as no sugar or daily gratitudes, and I'm curious to find out what makes him tick and why he's doing these things. Today, Austin joins me on the pod to chirp about all things navigating your 20s, health, work, creativity, and we will see what other rabbit holes we jump into through the telling of his story of advice to his younger self and memories for his older self. Austin, thank you for being here and welcome to your episode on David's Saturday Night Sit Back.
Wow, that was quite the intro. Thank you for having me.
How'd you like that?
That was amazing. It's great to hear all this nice summary about myself.
Yeah, dude.
I forget all those things about myself sometimes.
Which one did you forget?
Pool boy.
It was only a year ago.
Still.
I saw you chuckling out of the corner of my eyes like, I got him.
People listening are like, what is going on?
You'll find out. Stick around.
Yeah.
You'll find out. Knowing what we are going to be talking about today, why do you think the audience should stick around for this episode? What is your pitch for yourself?
Ooh, that is a good one. Pitch for myself. I think if you are curious and like learning more about like discovering your creative passions, if you're just someone who likes to reflect, someone who thinks deeply, someone who's passionate about their work, but also doesn't have everything figured out. You know, they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with their career, but still moving forward and, letting that passion drive them. I think this could be an interesting conversation.
Excellent. Before we get into my questions, I have it's not really an icebreaker, but there's not a lot about you online. Like, you do have an Instagram account, but it's only a year old, and it's mostly the challenges that you were going through. And your LinkedIn didn't have a ton on you, and I couldn't find too much else about you through the World Wide Web. But one of my favorite posts on your Instagram page was the one where you were filming yourself doing a cold plunge and your neighbor was filming you from their window.
Yes.
How did you get that? You just like go knock on their door and you're like, hey, can I send that to me?
No, that's Gustavo. My roommate introduced me to him, and he lives right next to the pool. He'd always wave at me whenever I'm in the pool and just freezing my buns off. And then one day I just had the idea of, it'd be hilarious to get his perspective caught on camera. And so I caught him at the right time and asked him to film me.
Okay, so that was a little bit set up. It wasn't.
Yeah, maybe I revealed too
completely
much
organic.
there. Yeah. Maybe I revealed too much, but I gave him creative control. I said, hey, like, it'd be funny if you filmed me just from your perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that.
I didn't tell him what to say. I didn't tell him how to zoom in or anything.
Right. He didn't zoom in too much. Talk to me about the guy that you played chess with. How the heck did you guys meet?
Jeff.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jeff.
So there's a park that's about a mile away from where I live, and I love going on a nice walk. Just go to the park, do a lap, and come back. And I've been doing that for months, like especially after I lost my job. Like I had all this free time, so I was just doing these midday walks. And then after maybe like a few weeks, I see this old man and a chessboard, and just he's not playing against anybody. I'm like, this is amazing. This is a dream. Fun fact, I went to chess camp as a kid. I was a dork like that. I played my dad growing up. I love playing chess. And so getting to play Jeff for, once a week for a few months and every now and then is very fun.
Who ended up winning most of the time?
Definitely Jeff. But I got him in the first game and I rattled him a little bit. And so he definitely brought his A game.
He wasn't expecting it.
No, he wasn't.
Just saw this kid, this millennial with long hair, waddling through the park, and he's like, "Oh, this guy's nothing."
Oh yeah.
And then you were something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had something to prove. He definitely did some homework and training because he came back swinging.
Did you watch The Queen's Gambit by chance?
I did. Great show.
Dude, so good. Probably one of my favorites in 2020.
It makes chess seem so much more epic than it is. Like it's a pretty slow game, but it's titillating.
Yeah, titillating.
I've been watching like different. I'll watch different like clips online of like, was it Magnus Carlsen playing and everything?
Yes,
I love it.
When in the height of 2020, after Queen's Gambit came out, I went through this really big chess streak where I carried a chessboard around with me literally everywhere, and I'd play anybody. Like I didn't care if they were better than me, worse than me, evenly matched.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play as much chess as I could. And so I don't remember their names, but I started watching some of the pros on YouTube. And I remember one time I was watching at my mom's place and my sister was there, and she walks in the room and she's just watching the guy explain, whatever move he was explaining on TV for a minute. And she was just like, my fucking God, this is so nerdy. And I was like, yeah, it is. But like, people take this really seriously.
They do. It's a real sport. Like, people are, I don't know, making livings off of it.
Yeah.
I love it. I went on a camping trip a couple weeks ago, and me and my friends brought a chessboard. It's a great way to pass the time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
If you could make a living doing anything, no matter how ridiculous it is, what would you make a living doing?
I feel like I've had this fantasy of just like doing woodworking by the beach and just making art, just having my own studio and just letting my just creative freedom go run wild. Yeah.
That's not even that ridiculous. You could totally do that.
I know. Yeah, I totally could. But I'm not very good at woodworking, so I probably couldn't make a career out of it by any means.
Well,
I haven't done woodworking since like middle school.
You're young.
Workshop.
You can sharpen up the skills.
Yeah, but yeah, it's I think it's something where like if I did it for like a week, I'd get my fix. Like I don't need to make it my whole life.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. All right, I'm going to ask you the hardest question first, potentially, and then
All
it's
right.
all downhill after that. Who's Austin?
How deep are we gonna get?
Very.
So we could start surface level as like I am.
You are not allowed to say anything that's on your LinkedIn as part of this
I was
answer.
gonna say, I'm a son. I am a brother. I've had a lot of jobs. I don't think that's not the core of who I am. I'm not a salesman. I'm not someone in marketing. I'm not just someone who did user experience research. But I think at the core, I'm a connector. I love to understand how people tick. I love to bring people together, bring them design gatherings. I love teamwork and collaboration. I'm someone who loves to just create. My medium of choice is drawing, of course.
Yep.
I'd say that's Austin in a nutshell.
What was the last gathering of people you brought together?
It was a creators gathering. So I called it the Creators Collective. And I got a bunch of content creators. It's probably like 10 of us from Austin, and they're all doing different things. Like someone who is just a full-time influencer, from someone who is just trying to become a content creator, to someone who shoots commercials, to someone who he's like the marketing director for a startup, and then myself, just collaborating on ideas and just like an incubation of ideas, like trying to relate to one another, because creating, and especially creating content, the way I look at it, it's not necessarily like a team sport. It's just you and the camera a lot of times. And so I wanted to get a lot of people together and just make it feel like this is a collaborative effort. This is a community.
You didn't have any podcast hosts there, I noticed.
Hey, maybe at the next one.
There we go.
There we go.
On March 27th, 2024, you went to your first art event, but your post about it was a little vague. Was any of your art featured there by chance, or was that just like the first time you were attending a art-centric event?
I probably could have done a better job of advertising that, but yeah, it was the first time that I attended an art event as one of the artists. And so I had I had 3 or 4 pieces up on the gallery, and it's quite the moment, actually getting to share it with people in person and not just my friends or with people online.
What did it feel like?
I felt like I was finally being recognized as an artist, and I was one within the art community.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Have you gone to any since that? Or has your art, let me rephrase that, has your art been featured in any showing since that?
It hasn't. I haven't really been focusing on that. I've been mainly just focused on the online route, like just posting, whether it's new drawings or my commissions online, and to get business that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your, what would you say your current objective is in life with where you sit right now?
I would say I'm very focused on my new job. I just got a new job doing roofing sales.
Heck yeah.
And I had no plan on getting into roofing sales at all, let me tell you. I started maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, just doing door-to-door, selling roofs for people who have damaged roofs. And I've never really been in sales before, and now I'm just like really leaning in. I want to hone in on this craft. I want to get good. I want to make this a career and just generate wealth from it. So I've kind of just been very focused on roofing.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot big time right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry in advance. We're going to do a little role play.
Okay.
And see how your roofing pitch is going.
Okay.
So I'm going to be the customer. This is my front door. You just you're walking down the sidewalk.
I'm not nervous.
You know, as he sips some more. I don't know if that jalapeno margarita is helping or hurting the nerves right now. But you walk by and notice that my roof is absolute shit. It was destroyed in the thunderstorm that hit 9 days ago. True story. Well, not the roof being destroyed, but there was a storm up here.
I'll inspect your roof.
Thank you. It's not my roof, not my money. You can charge them whatever you want. All right, so you're going to knock on my door. I'm going to answer, and we're going to see what your pitch is.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, and we're about to expose myself here. Here we go.
Yep. Hello.
Hey, my name's Austin with Haven Exteriors. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, too. What can I do for you, Austin?
Hey, I'm working with your neighbor, Jeff, and Larry. You know, we're helping them get their roof replaced through insurance because of the storm that happened a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you remember that hailstorm.
Yep.
Yeah, devastated the neighborhood. Everyone's going nuts. The holes in the roof. All the roofs destroyed. How's your roof looking?
It's great. You know, nothing's leaking.
Oh, I bet there's leaks in there. Let me take a look.
You know, Austin, I appreciate it, but, you know, I'm going to go about my day.
I'm going to get on that roof real quick. I'll let you know how it goes.
Do you ever hop on people's roofs before you knock on their door? It's probably legal, huh?
That's pretty illegal, yeah. Yeah.
Is it nerve-wracking going? That must be the most, like, stand-up comedy, being a doctor or a nurse and doing, like, some sort of surgery where you have to cut into someone, and door-to-door sales. I got to imagine those have got to be, like, the most 3 nerve-wracking jobs ever.
Yeah. Yeah, for different reasons too. Like comedy, you're trying to get a laugh out of someone. Doctor, you're trying to save a life. There's a life on the line. In sales, you're trying to get someone to like you. I guess it's similar to comedy, but you're trying to get someone to see your point of view and agree with you, and you're trying to get a sale at the end of the day. And so there's a lot happening.
What do you want to, when you knock on their door and they open it, what is do you have an objective within like the first 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds that you're trying to get done?
The objective is to get on the roof, to do the inspection. That's what it starts with. You definitely want them to find some common ground. You want them to know like of the storm, like because the storm was so recent, people know about it. So that's not a hurdle at all. But it's getting up on the roof so that you can do the inspection and identify any sort of damage. From there, you can. It just comes down to your sales skill. But that is step number one, because if you can get up on that roof, you can more usually close them pretty, not easily, but if the damage is there, you can close them.
How are you doing at getting up on the roof?
I'd say better than expected. Like I'm only 3 months in, and according to my manager, he says that I'm still learning. I'm still I'm still in that learning phase. So I think that I've generated success so far. I've gotten enough to like where I'm not scared to pay my bills. I feel like I can eat at night. I am not scared that I'm not gonna be able to make rent. So things are moving and grooving.
What's been either the most difficult or funny or craziest door that you've knocked on so far?
Oh my God. Yesterday, like I'm still thinking about this interaction that happened yesterday. So what happened is I set an appointment with a lady maybe like 5 days ago. I said, hey, I'm going to be back in the neighborhood doing more roof inspections. I just did it for your neighbor, so-and-so, and the one like to the left of you. They had hail damage. You probably do too. And she's like, I have family over. Come back Tuesday. I'm like, perfect. I'll be back Tuesday. I come back. There's nobody home. And then I'm just waiting in the neighborhood. Like I'm just doing some admin work on my phone. Like 5 minutes go by and someone pulls into the driveway. It's the husband. I'm like, okay, cool. He probably like is wondering like why there's a guy just waiting outside of his house, but I wait for him to come, go inside so I can knock on the door. I knock on the door. I'm like, hey, like Sarah told me like to come by to do a roof inspection. Like, no, I'll be up there like 15 minutes, take some pictures, and I'll show it to you after. And he just goes, no.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I like this guy.
Oh no.
I mean, you don't. I'm sorry. I hate him.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, oh. I'm like, I'm just like, oh, is there a problem? Like, he's like, we already filed the claim, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, perfect. So you guys are like one step ahead. But have you had like anyone up there at all to like assess the damage? He goes, you should leave. I'm just like, I'm confused. I think there's like some sort of miscommunication. Next thing you know, he threatens to call the cops on me, and he walks towards me a little bit, basically. He's threatening me. I'm like, is this happening right now? He's like, you need to leave. You're trespassing. I'm gonna call the cops. I was like, I came in with such hot energy. I was feeling on top of the world.
Yeah.
I just sold someone earlier that day, and then this guy comes crashing down on me. But that's a day in the life of a roofer. You got to deal with those objections right there and then.
This not the exact same situation, but one of our neighbors told us about a trail that we should hike the other day. And so me and Thad went and found the trail, and we're walking down it. And at one point it spits us out into this neighborhood. And so I'm sort of just like, and he was not on his leash. He was just wandering around. And so I'm scanning the neighborhood trying to see, like, do we just cross the street? Is there like another point in between one of these houses where the trail continues? Or is this the dead end where we, turn around and just head back to our car?
Yeah.
And so off to my right, I just heard someone go, private property. Yeah, you're triggered. Yeah, like, and okay. I look over and it's this like 90-year-old dude. And he caught me very off guard. This was like first thing on a Saturday morning. I'm tired. I hadn't done my jump in Barton Springs. I don't think I even had any coffee yet. So I was just like, huh? And he points his finger at me. He goes, private property. And I was just like, hey, man, I'm David. This is Thad. We were just walking this trail back here. Does it happen to continue in between any of these houses? Or is this the end of the line? And he goes, private property. I'm just like, is this the only 2 words this guy knows? Like, what is going on? And I was like, we will be out of your hair in 5 seconds. Would you just mind telling me, like, is this the end of the trail? Or or does it continue somewhere around here? And he goes, private property. I'm just like, dude, I was by the 4th one, I went from, have you ever been like so peaceful and calm and enjoying your day, and out of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're just seeing red?
Yeah.
That was me in that moment, because I was just like, bro, like, I'm not here to destroy your private property. I'm not here to ruin your Saturday morning. Me and this cutest little dog on the planet are just like fucking out here getting some air, touching some grass, just being normal middle-aged Austin folks. Like, what's going on? So I was like, come on, Thad, let's go this way. And as we were walking away, I don't remember, he didn't yell private property. He was something like, yeah, that's right, get out of here. Wow. And I was just like, okay, dude, like we never went on that trail again.
Jeez. You know what it makes me think of? It's like, you know those video games where you can make decisions and you have like 4 different options? It's like, you can say this, or you can say this, or do this.
Yes.
Or this. It makes me think, that's kind of what I'm thinking in real time. It's like, I could match this dude's energy right now, and I could just have a full-on argument and just see red. Or I could just leave, not say a word. Or I could like try and reason with him. And like, it's all happening so fast. But ultimately, you know, like if I'm working, if I'm on the job, it's like, I just need to like bite my tongue and leave. And I'm just thinking, like, I get in my car, I'm sure, I don't know how you're thinking of it. It's like, what?
I wanted to shoot him.
Yeah, no, I absolutely wanted to like, I wanted to tell my guy, I was like, I wanted to be like, just go off on him. But then just also thinking like, how sorry or how like, bad is this guy's life, where he just has to, he just sees the worst in people, the worst intentions, and just to go off on them.
Did you see the movie Up?
Yeah.
He reminded me of that guy. As we were walking back to the car, I was like thinking, but also telling Thad, because I talk to him a lot. I was like, dude, his wife's probably dead. His kids probably don't talk to him. And then this like random dude and this cute little dog shows up on his property, and this bitter, resentful old man, just the only thing he can get out of his mouth on that morning was private property. I was like, dude, if you say that one more time.
It's like out of a cartoon, actually.
Anyways. All right, talk to me about growing up in St. Louis.
The Lou. You know, it seems like a pretty basic come up, but like it's just Midwestern lifestyle. Had both my parents, mom and dad, older sister, younger brother, lived in the suburbs, and, you know, grew up playing sports. I was a big soccer and tennis guy.
Yeah, you seem like that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the camaraderie of soccer, and I loved the competitiveness of tennis. It's my thing. I ended up playing club soccer and at TCU, and stuck with that. I don't know. It seemed like a pretty standard come up. I was just a kid trying to navigate the social scene and just playing sports.
Were you accepted in the social scene, or did you feel like you had a hard time fitting in, or somewhere in the middle of those two extremes?
It's kind of both. It's like I felt accepted, and I had a large friend group. I had close friends, and I didn't have like enemies by any means. I wasn't bullied by any means. But like looking back, I could tell, like, you know, I was still like an insecure kid trying to fit in and trying to, you know, you want people to like you. But I didn't have problems making friends. I got along with everyone. I got along with the teachers, got along with people in my class. I wasn't like Mr. Popular by any means, but I wasn't like, you know, the kid in the corner, like, don't talk to me.
Fair enough. Who was your best friend growing up?
Let's see.
Or one of them. One of the best friends.
I feel it's weird. I feel like I had like a best friend like in each grade. Like it changed every year. It's kind of weird. But
you were in the same school though for the most part?
Yeah, same
Like,
school system.
Yeah.
So high school, my best friend was Michael. He's playing baseball now. He's playing like not in what's not a D3. What do they call it? Like the for baseball? It's he's in the farm
D1?
system, not D1. He's out of college now. He's in the pros, but he's in the minors. That's what he's in.
Okay.
Yeah, and then,
Almost like the oh shoot, that's gonna kill me too. I know the term. Sorry to interrupt your train of thought, but
yeah,
it's
you're
on.
good.
It starts with an A.
Oh yeah, AAA and all of that. Yeah, yeah. Like
Is that the affiliate
AA.
league when you're not?
I think so.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I'll fact check
Yeah.
us afterwards.
For the purpose of this, to keep it going.
Yes.
He's in the minors. My other best friend Dominic, who I'm close with now, he lives in Nashville. We didn't play sports together by any means, but we were homies. And I was the house where the friends would always sleep over at and
Heck yeah.
just get into trouble.
What kind of trouble you get into?
We never got into like real trouble, but it was just like just guys being dudes.
Such as?
The classic, just like drinking in the basement, like trying to have some fun.
Do you ever pull any like pranks on the neighbors, like reindeer stacking? Like, what's the most mischievous thing you got into growing up?
So I forget which grade it was, but I vividly remember me and my friend Justin, Chris, and Michael. We were about to leave my front door. We all had handful of toilet paper.
Oh boy.
And then my dad walks by and goes, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Nothing."
Nothing.
Yeah, we
Nothing.
never got to go TP.
Who were you gonna TP?
That's a good question. I really don't remember, but we'd go find some neighbor probably and just have a field day.
What'd your parents do?
For work?
Yeah.
My dad, he owned a printing and advertising company, and then my mom, she did a lot of sales stuff. Like, she kind of wasn't really working too much when my siblings were growing up, but then towards like the end of high school, I really remember she was taking control of the restaurant that my parents owned.
What kind of restaurant?
It was a Cajun restaurant. So my dad, I guess it's because he's from Louisiana, but also because I don't know if you know St. Louis, but there's a district called Soulard. It's a French district, and that's like the party scene. That's where all the bars are. It's where like the second largest Mardi Gras celebration in America is, and they had a Cajun restaurant / bar, and they're still kicking it.
Is does it make them like fairly decent money? I've heard the restaurant business is tough, like small margins.
Yeah.
Has it been treating them well? How's it doing? Do you know, or do they not really talk about it?
We never really get into like the finances of things. Like I never really asked my dad, or we never like talked about how much money are you making.
But they made it through the pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's something.
They did make it through the pandemic. Like just thinking about that, that's actually very impressive. But yeah, they've had the restaurant for at least like 25 years, 20 years.
Nice.
Majority of my childhood.
What's it called?
It's called 1860s.
Do they work there themselves? Like if I was to go and visit, could your dad or mom like be in the kitchen chefing it up or serving me my food?
My dad, he just owns it. My mom, you could catch her like just walking around managing the place. Okay. But it was the best growing up because my dad would just bring home food on Fridays, and so my friends were always like, "I'm gonna have some pizza on Friday."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna have some pizza on Friday."
Is it good pizza?
Oh, it was the best.
What was on it?
It was, I don't know if you've ever had thin crust pizza. It's
yeah.
Big thing in St. Louis. We had taco pizza where you can never get taco pizza anywhere. It was amazing. And then there was this one called the Blues Burger that had burger meat, had jalapenos, blue cheese, and I think that's the main ingredients really. It's maybe some bacon, but it was thin crust. So
blue cheese on
perfect.
Pizza is so good.
It's underrated.
Yeah, it is. You ever had a buffalo chicken pizza from BJ's Brewhouse?
I have not.
You been to BJ's?
Yes, I've been there once, and I remember the menu was so big.
Yeah, there's a lot. They're like a slightly not smaller menu than Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty big menu. But if you ever go again and you're in the mood for pizza and you like buffalo sauce, they have a buffalo chicken pizza with buffalo sauce and chicken, obviously. And then some blue cheese, some onion, some celery, maybe one or two other things in there.
Talk dirty to me, David.
Then you wrap
Come
up
on.
with a nice little pizookie, get some chocolate chips on those shiny white teeth of yours.
Are we about to go to BJ's after this? Is that
Maybe. So good.
We'll be right back.
We'll be back. Pause. Yeah, dude. Buffalo chicken pizza. I probably have one or two of those a year. It's so good. Did your parents ever push you in any type of direction around the end of high school or beginning of college, or were they like, what was their attitude towards you exiting high school?
You know, there's definitely some expectations to go to college, but it wasn't just on them, and they weren't pressuring it by any means. It was just like my high school was also just kind of expecting it's like, oh yeah, like next step is college, and like we'll help you, you know, with the applications. Like this is just what you do. I didn't even think that there was another option. Like I knew like you didn't have to go to college, but I thought like, oh, if you want to have a job, you go to college. And so, yeah, my parents definitely pushed me in that direction. They wanted me to, you know, get a major that would end up with a career, one that would make money. So they're like, okay, no underwater basket weaving. Like, please take something serious like business or like they weren't pushing me in any specific direction.
How'd you end up choosing, let's see, you probably remember what it's called, the Texas Christian University. Why'd you choose there?
Yeah, my sister, she went there. So she's 2.5 years older, so 2 grades above me. We were pretty close growing up, and at least in high school. Like that's at the age where you can like finally have a real conversation and you know, hang out a little bit and not feel like you're hanging out with a child. So when she started applying to Texas Christian University, that's when I like heard about it. I didn't even know what it was at the time. And so when she went off to school, we did the whole family weekend. I visited her my senior year by myself just to get a feel for what it was like. And it just checked all the boxes that I was looking for. At that time, I was in between like engineering and business, and I was like, okay, I want to go the business route. It's got a good business school. It's got a good football culture. Greek life was so popular back in the day, and it's just something that you couldn't not think about, or something like I had to do when I was a senior in high school. It's like, oh yeah, you go to Greek life and you rush.
We'll come back to this in a second. I glossed over something. You went to chess camp. What grade was that?
I was like 9 years old.
Do you remember it?
I have like some specific like moves that I remember that they were teaching us, but like I don't really remember it like fully.
Do you remember, was this like a summer camp with a chess theme where like you're like off camping in the woods with 200 other people and you are just playing chess all day, or like what?
I wish I could remember the specifics like that. It wasn't camping by any means. No, it was my mom dropped me off at some place that was like, 4 blocks away from where we lived. Maybe it was an all day thing. I'd imagine it was more of like a late morning to early afternoon camp. And we just played chess. That's all it was.
This isn't camp. This is a day club. This is chess day.
They were priming me. They're trying to find the next grandmaster, and it wasn't me.
Oh, womp womp.
Yeah, but
did you ever go to any kind of old like summer camps like that?
Yeah,
no, or not like that.
I went to camps all the time, man. I went to art camp. I did Jesus camp. There's something with my church. We did that a couple times. I never did the sleepaway camps. My friends did. They always went to sleepaway camp. I'm like, Mom, I want to do the sleepaway camp. But the one experience that I got that is more unique than anything is I went to cousin camp.
Tell me more.
Cousin camp is exactly what it sounds like. It's just me and my cousins. I went from age like 6 to like age 14 or so. And all of our cousins on my dad's side, we'd go to my Uncle Frank's farm. This is in Potosi, Missouri. This is middle of nowhere. You can see all of the stars in the sky. You don't even know where your neighbors are. Like that's how remote it is. My dad is one of 10 kids. And so I have like 40 cousins on that side. So we would just pile in at least like 25 of us at a time into this one cabin. My Uncle Frank and Aunt Mary, and we would just have a time.
How many siblings did you have? You mentioned the sister.
Sister and brother. Yeah.
What happened? You're short 7.
Short 7?
Yeah, like Uncle Frank had 10. Or no, he had 10 siblings, or 9.
Yeah, so...
Your parents just stopped at 3? Step it up.
I don't know. You know, the Catholic...
Call your parents right now.
I don't know. That's just Catholics for you. They can't stop after 9. They have to have 10.
How big was your guys'... What was the biggest holiday or occasion that you guys celebrated on an annual basis?
Christmas and Thanksgiving were pretty consistent. We would just go to my mom's side, though. My dad's side, it was like so spread out. Like everyone was across the country. It was almost impossible to get everyone in one house. So we would just spend our Christmas and Thanksgiving at my grandma's place on my mom's side.
Okay.
Yeah.
The year before I moved to Texas, this would have been 2022. My buddy Tim invited me to his family's Thanksgiving. So what they do is Thanksgiving Day is family only. And then Black Friday through Sunday, it's an open ranch or like open house. And so you have Tim's mom, who's sort of the matriarch, I guess you could call her, and she had 11 kids and then adopted 2. So they have 13 kids. Husband had passed away. And of those 13, a lot of them had got married and started having kids. And then of that line of family, a lot of them had got married and started having kids. But because there are so many generations, some of like the nieces and nephews were older than their uncles and aunts because of just the timing that everything was happening.
Interesting.
So he told me, he was like, you should, before you move to Texas, like you should come to our Black Friday. Like it's open house.
Yeah.
We live on this big ranch. They have a bunkhouse with just rooms full of beds and bathrooms. So they could host, up to like 80 people or something like that. And they had like a place for archery, place for horseshoes, a couple of ATVs to ride around the property, a couple horses to ride. So they have all this stuff to do. And I remember I showed up, and I was one of the first ones there. I was like person 10 or 11 or 12 to show up. And even just that was overwhelming because they brought me into the kitchen immediately to introduce me to everyone. We were getting ready for lunch, and they just put a knife in my hand, and they were like, start chopping these potatoes or something.
Get to work.
And dude, all these people showed up, and I'd be like, oh, Austin, are you that person's uncle? And you'd be like, no, that's actually my niece. And I'd be like, well, she's older than you. And you'd be like, yeah, but they were born then. It's just like, I'm giving up.
Yeah.
Like, this is too many people.
Imagine marrying into that.
No.
I'm good.
Is that too quick? Is that too quick of a response?
I know where you stand on that.
But dude, no, it was cool. It was a super fun weekend. There's just my family.
There's always something going on.
If everyone shows up to Christmas, we're like 15. We're a very small clan. We are small but mighty.
Yes.
They are.
That's an army. Yeah.
There's a lot of Hesters running around that ranch.
Was there like a football game that happened yearly?
No, it was karaoke.
What?
They did karaoke one night, and they were like, everyone has to sing. And I was like, well, if everyone has to sing, that means that's 80 songs. So I'm going to volunteer to not sing. So we only have to sit through 79. And what ended up happening, for some reason, here's something crazy that I probably shouldn't say on mic, but here we go. I hate kids. But for some reason, kids love me. And at one point, all the kids came up to me, and they were like, let's go fucking play. And I was like, please, get me out of this karaoke thing. So we and all the kids were off like playing tag, hide and seek, archery. Probably shouldn't have been playing archery with 4-year-olds, but I was like, just don't shoot each other. Y'all will be fine. If you do, it's a ranch. You'll be good. And dude, that was probably one of my funnest Thanksgivings. So cool.
Playing with the kids.
Yeah, dude, they were okay.
And if you do the math, 80 songs, like at least 3 minutes a pop, and then the transitions, like that's an evening right there. Yeah, you better buckle up.
And one of the sons of the mom at the top, he was so adamant about it. He's like, everyone has to sing. I was like, no.
Like, let's split it up. How about we do like this section sing this one?
I was like, you want to have a bench press contest? Let's have a bench press contest. Let's do that.
Yeah, show them up. Yeah.
Let's do something I can win at.
You could bench press the kids.
Well, yeah, they were like, I could bench press you. Well, like $150 soaking wet. No, I'm kidding.
Come on.
How much do you weigh?
That's rude. I'm just kidding.
There's no HR department for this podcast.
I probably like 164. If you have a scale, it'd probably be like 164.1.
How often you work out?
I'd say at least 3 times a week.
Why do you do it?
Man, I feel so good afterwards. Like, it could be a run, it could be a HIIT workout, it could be yoga, it could be a meaty lift. I am the best version of myself. During a workout and afterwards, I feel the best about myself. And so that's why I keep doing it. Yeah?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and I just want to live a long healthy life. You have...
That's not why you do it. You do it so you look good in those shirts.
I just want to look good naked. Let's be real. Yeah.
When you're doing your weight workouts, do you lift at Gold's or where do you go?
I've been going to LA Fitness lately. It's just really close to where I live.
You like it?
Yeah, actually. I like the setup that they have there. They've just got everything that I need.
What's Uncle Frank like?
Man, I'm glad you asked. Rest in peace, Uncle Frank. But he was the leader of the clan. He was son number 1, the firstborn of the family. And just the biggest belly laugh. He was smarter than anyone I knew. Just like he was a doctor and he just knew how to lead. Just a natural leader. Everyone listened to him within the family, and he knew how to run a camp. So cousin camp, like he knew how to run it. Like we had teams, so there was 3 teams every year, and the older cousins would be the team leaders, and then there'd always be games throughout the days. So we'd play anything from like toilet paper hockey to, flash tag. Capture the flag in the middle of the night, and you'd win points, and then by the end of the week there'd be a winner. And we all had chores, like the blue team had to cook breakfast, green team had to do lunch, orange team dinner, and we just kept a tight ship.
What did you observe anything in Uncle Frank that made him a natural, or maybe not natural? How do you become like the leader of the clan?
I think just being the firstborn, you just kind of have that natural like leading ability. So I'm sure he just kind of had to be that also. Like the way my dad described it is the siblings raised each other more or less. Like when there's 10 kids, mom and dad can't raise everyone. So he just kind of had to step up at an early age, and it just carried into adulthood.
Did he, do you feel like he had the ability to change the energy when he walked in a room?
I'm trying to remember. It wasn't like he commanded attention by any means. It wasn't like everyone just like all of a sudden like looks at him and waits for him to drink from his coffee. But people definitely, he had his presence there. His Uncle Frank's around.
All right.
Yeah.
How's your drink doing? You want any more?
I would love some more.
Let me freshen these drinks for us real quick.
Are we
You
gonna
want anything else along with that, or are you good with just another?
put the last dab in this one?
Yeah.
I'd love some more of whatever that is.
This is the bottom stuff, so I don't know if that means like
Extra
does
spicy.
spice go down? Well, no heat
I don't know.
rises, but that's air.
I don't know how
This is a
the
drink.
spice works. We'll find out. How did you come up with the design? Did someone help you, or did it just kind of you get some inspiration online? You kind of just did what felt right.
So, hand you that.
Thank you.
And would you mind setting that down just anywhere on that little table for me, please? So,
We can get you a brand sponsor with Kirkland right there.
I wish Costco would sponsor me. I'm gonna pee real quick too, and then I'll answer that question.
Do your thing. This is the part where I can freestyle. It's the weekend podcast. You know it's gonna last. This conversation's probably gonna be fast, but take your time. It's gonna be sublime. We'll find the finish line soon. It's gonna boom. Hear the sound in this room. Thad. Looking like a crab.
You're a natural at this, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate it.
You're very good podcast guest.
Thank you. I realized you didn't have your headphones in.
Not yet, but I'm
you-
about to.
When you go back, you'll hear what I was doing.
Oh yeah, dude. Every now and then someone will surprise me with. I'll be in the bathroom and they'll like start talking shit or something and like come back out. I'm like, well, this episode's not going out now.
No way.
I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
No, usually it's just funny stuff. People will be like, all right, I'm gonna sing a little song for David while he's gone, and then they'll start singing like, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. And then I'll be sitting down to edit this thing, which is the only part of podcasting I hate. And halfway through the episode, we'll break for the bathroom break. And I'll start to fast forward because I think I'm just going to cut the whole thing out. So I'll go into like quadruple speed. And then all of a sudden I'll just hear this. I'm like, oh, what was Spencer saying? So I'll pause, rewind, and then I can hear clear. I'm just, Spencer, I love you, dog.
What do you do with those clips?
Depending on what they actually say, some of them I leave in and some of them I cut out. Okay. So I don't know what you did yet. So I don't know if it's going to stay in or be out.
I think it'd just be funny if you had a compilation video of like all those moments. Like those.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, those off camera, the off air moments.
You sure you don't want to try 6?
For the sake of this conversation, I'll pass right now.
That's how you were to say for the sake of this conversation. Sure.
The last time I took a 6 a couple weeks ago, it was the right setting. I was at a comedy show. My friend offered it to me. He's like, just no. I'm like, you're gonna feel. I'm like, I'm good. And I was like, thank God I'm in a chair right now in a dark room. I'm just gonna sink and not move. Not that I had the sweats or anything. I was fine, but it was just like, I don't want to talk to anyone.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think the dog is farting, by the way. I apologize. That's
Okay.
not me. I would own it if it was me.
Respect.
Yeah, but
Major respect.
he is dripping acid right now. So me and my buddy Tyler got together in late January to talk about life. We both had some stuff on our minds, and usually we work out. And I was like, what if instead we go out for a cup of coffee or something? And he's like, yeah, okay. So we ended up talking for 3, 4, 5 hours, and somewhere in there we got into a conversation about where I wanted the podcast to go. Yeah. And so by the end of it, he was like, well, listen, I probably won't ever come on the show because I don't like talking.
After a 5-hour conversation.
On microphone.
Sure.
He actually is going to come on. I twisted his arm into it. The last time we hung out, he was like, I'll come on at some point in 2025. I was like, yes, Tyler's coming on.
Let's go.
But he said he one of his many talents is he builds studios for a living. So he was like, you show me some ideas of what you want to do and we'll take down all the stuff you have up currently and we'll rebuild it from the ground up. So I found like a dozen pictures of different studios I liked. And the very annoying task that I put him on was this is what I like about this one and this one and this one, but I don't want it to look like we're copying any of these guys.
Yeah. Dude, you didn't go down the Pinterest rabbit hole, like make a mood board, like, oh, I want it to look like this.
Yeah, basically. And so then the day of, we planned a day, and he was like, we're going to meet at Home Depot, and then we'll go to Walmart, and then we'll go back to your place, and we'll build it. It's like, all right, cool. So we go to Home Depot, and dude, here's what I love about Tyler. The man has no problem thinking. So like when we got to the wood aisle to pick out this wood, he just had his coffee, and he had his little fucking cup. And he would just sort of pause there and like cross his arms. Let's see if I can do this. Cross his arms. And he would just be sitting there like looking at the wood like a stone statue. And I'd be like, Tyler, what are we doing? And he'd be like, shh. Oh, sorry. And he'd just be looking at the wood.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, that one. We need 42 feet.
42 feet.
Okay. Dude, that was the whole shopping trip. And so, anyways, so then we went to Walmart and we got like half the shit came from Home Depot. The other half came from Walmart. This came from Walmart, this little plant.
That's perfect.
And then we got back here and put it all together. And I really had a lot of doubts because he had it in his head and he was trying to articulate it to me. And then at one point he was like, just trust me. And I was like, all right. So then we spent 2 days on this. And by the time it was done, dude, I was so happy with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no,
Shout out Tyler Hayes with The Broken View. Go stream them on Spotify or YouTube. It's great music. You need to cry? There's music for it. You're angry? There's music for it. They're a modern day Linkin Park, The Broken View. And they have a show coming up that will be after this episode releases, so I won't bother mentioning it.
Available on all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
I love it. No, it turned out great. I think it's simple, but there's a lot of textures and it's minimal. There's very soft lighting. Well done.
Well done, Tyler. We appreciate you. We love you, brother. All right. As we were talking about Uncle Frank, it made me think of a list of questions.
Shoot.
That I'm curious how you would answer them. And I'll tell you what, you might figure it out by the end of these 7 questions, what I'm getting at here. But if you don't, I'll tell you. Do you have an immigrant mentality? This is people who have moved from their hometown or have even moved from your home country. Yes, you do, because you're living in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just say, I don't know. I've never... What do you mean by that?
So basically, do you have the ability to move out of your hometown? But not just to like the town over. So if you live in Westlake Hills and you move to Bee Cave, that doesn't count.
Sure. Right. No, I get that.
It's like moving from Austin, North Carolina, or wherever.
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 2, do you feel like people can never or rarely guess your opinions? Some examples of this could be like the boxer who writes poetry, the advertiser obsessed with the history of war. In other words, your beliefs don't line up with the stereotypes of someone who's into something like bodybuilding, finance, fraternities, art, whatever it is you're into.
I feel like the people who know me best, like, wouldn't be surprised at this point. But, you know, I'm like an ogre. I've got some layers to me. So, maybe so. I think, like, if I'm in the gym, like, and someone's looking at me, they probably wouldn't assume, like, oh, this guy is an artist. If I'm, at a concert, they probably wouldn't think, oh, like, maybe this person does door-to-door sale. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think I'm that complex of a person, though. Like, have that many, like, masks that I wear.
Did any of your neighbors ever talk to you about why you were getting in the water during your cold plunge phases? Because a lot of them would be like, what are you doing? Or like, hey, I saw you in there a month ago. But did any of them ever like stop you and were like, why are you doing this?
No one ever asked why. They always just said, like, you're crazy, or like it wasn't like a why. I was just like, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Who has a gun to your head? Where are they?
Yeah,
what bush are they
pretty
hiding
much.
behind?
Right. They're like, you realize it's dead winter, right? So I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, all right, good luck. Just wish me good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't see too many people outside, though, because if it's freezing cold, people are usually just, like, focused on getting inside.
Fair.
Yeah.
Did you have any weird teenage hobbies?
Weird. I feel like I was into, like, basic stuff. Like, I would play FIFA. I would play sports with my friends all the time. No, I don't think I wasn't into, like, juggling or, like, anything, like, random like that. I feel like it's a boring answer, but I probably have to dig a little deeper now. Do you have a weird hobby that you did in high school?
I had a lot of lightsaber battles with my brother, but Star Wars was very big back then.
I mean, that's just epic.
So
that's not even weird.
That's not weird. I went reindeer stacking during Christmas time.
What is that?
You know how people put little reindeers in front of their house? Like the little light up reindeers?
Okay.
We would stack them in a way that would look like they were humping each other.
Naughty.
I played the piano. Is that weird?
Me too.
I guess playing an instrument in general is not the weirdest thing.
No, it's pretty cool, actually. At least back then, like, it wasn't... it was maybe a little weird. But like looking back on it, you're like, wow, like if you can play an instrument, that's just impressive.
I started a prayer club at my school because I thought we all needed help from God.
Did you still think that?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No. I mean, I think people need help, hence why we're here talking.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
I just changed the modality a little bit. Weird teenage hobbies. No.
No.
I would say no to that one.
What's an example that comes to mind? Like when you think of a weird hobby, are you thinking like underwater basket weaving? Like, oh, this person collected beetles from his backyard.
Okay, here's
and
one.
harvested them.
There's a kid at my gym. He's 18. I'd say he's still a teenager. He goes and plays poker every weekend.
With his friends?
No, by himself. I mean, there's other people at the poker place that he goes to, but he goes all by himself, fake ID, goes in there. And he has an app where he records everything. So he's shown me, he'd be like, dude, I lost 3,000 this weekend. Or he'd be like, bro, I made 5,000 this weekend. And
Wow.
I would say like stuff like that.
That's unique.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's another one? Taking steroids.
Yeah, it's pretty popular amongst the youths now.
Yeah, maybe that one's not weird anymore. The casino one is a pretty good example.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone in your life where you are mean to them to their face, but nice to them behind their back?
I feel like my sibling is like the first reaction. You know, whenever I feel like now, and I don't know if I asked you if you had any siblings. I think you mentioned that you did.
I'm the middle of 5.
You're middle of 5. It's like I feel like sometimes when it comes to siblings, whenever we meet up with them, we revert back to the childhood tendencies. So like I'll revert back to how I treated my sister or brother when I was in high school. Maybe not so much anymore. I'm not like cruel to them, but you're maybe a little bit more confrontational. You're okay with getting in a fight. Like you're, stepping on toes a little bit. But I wouldn't say I'm like outright mean to anybody to their face. Life's too short to be mean.
What if instead of mean, I change that to, is there anyone where you hold them accountable to them, to their face, but you'd always have their back, even if you think they have some shortcomings?
Mm.
You don't have to say the name if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Or do you feel like there's anyone that's like that to you?
I do. I think I've had like a recent example is like with a coworker, like someone I've become pretty close with actually, and he's just a solid dude. And we had an instance where like I, just had an accountability check on him. Just like, I don't need to get into the details, but I think it just like strengthened our relationship at the end of the day. Just like, hey man, like, need you to step up here. Like, hey, this didn't feel right. Blah blah blah. It's like, oh, appreciate you saying that. But yeah, I think it's hard to say the uncomfortable thing, call people out in the moment. But once you get over that fear of like they're going to think of you differently or it's going to hinder the relationship, you realize that, it comes out stronger. And if, it does ruin the relationship by any means, like then that wasn't a strong relationship to begin with.
Yeah. Who would you call if you were stuck in a third world dungeon?
My dad, for sure.
Why? That's a quick answer.
Yeah, just
shout out to Pops.
He's the one I would call when I was in trouble in high school. He's the one. He has an answer. He just like can help. He in any way. He's the guy. He just knows who to call. He knows like how to help, how to handle situations like that.
Who would call you?
Who would call me? Depends on the situation.
Stuck in a third world dungeon.
Stuck in a third world dungeon. I like to think one of my best friends, but I don't know. At that point, you just call the authorities. No. Who would you call? Tyler?
How'd you know that?
It seems like you guys are just like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, he'd go to war for me, I think.
Let's go.
Yeah, and I would I would get him out of there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'd also trust you because you're just freaking John Cena over here.
Oh, dude.
Let's go.
Thank you. I don't know if that's going to get me much when it comes to breaking you out of a third world country, but I'll take the compliment.
Yeah, John Cena, if you're listening, you should sponsor this show.
It was funny because just today, there's this guy that goes to my gym who's probably like 6'4", if I had to guess, 270 pounds. His arms are like bigger than my waist. The guy is just massive. And we were talking for a couple minutes, and I was like, dude, you should come on my podcast. And his immediate response, he's like, oh, I don't know, man, that's scary. And it's funny to see like how, going back to the sort of the second question, like, can people rarely guess your opinions? You sort of have these pre-set ideas, and in my head I'm thinking like, oh, this guy, he used to be part of the Air Force, and his job was to fly into hostile territories when VIPs were being threatened and get them out safely. And so it's just funny to see this big guy who had this job, and then be like, oh, you want me to come on to your podcast? Like, no, dude, that's scary.
Yeah, it's you see these giants in the gym, and you just assume like they're the most confident people in the world, and they just run shit.
No.
Yeah. Oh, you're a beta.
No, I'm
okay.
kidding.
Well, it makes me think of a new answer then. Like, I think when people see me, they probably think I'm this big extrovert. They think I'm just super outgoing, and maybe I give off that confidence and energy, but I think I do prefer more like intimate environments. I am a natural introvert. Like, just being around people for too long starts to drain me. Like, even if I'm around the right people, I just get tired a lot quicker from being in social settings. I think that's something that people are generally surprised when I bring up.
You're very animated.
Appreciate that. I like to be silly and just, yeah.
Yeah, your Instagram was fun to go through. It was very. I didn't watch everything because at one point I was like, all right, I've been on this thing for 75 minutes. I need to skip a few posts.
Yeah, I definitely go back and look at some of my videos and be like, all right, I was being like a little too weird.
No.
Then I realized like that's just who I am. Like I know when to be serious, and I know just when I can be a little silly.
I like it. I like the silliness on your Instagram.
Appreciate it.
Let's see here. Do you feel? I think I know the answer to this one just based off our 15 seconds when I opened the front door. Do you feel you can change the energy in a room when you enter it?
I like to think so. I really do.
Do you do that on purpose, or is it just who you are?
I think lately I'm a little bit more aware of it. Like, I've had this moment with a friend where we were having a great conversation, and this is just, it's gonna sound like a high conversation moment, but like we were out on the water in Guatemala, and we were just floating on these paddle boards, and a boat is just flying by in the distance, and you see the ripples from it coming our way, and we just think like, wow, like that's super far away, but like it's gonna hit us really soon. It's gonna affect us. And I was just thinking like, wow, you could get really deep with that. It's like the energy is like the energy you put out that affects other people. And not that I didn't think that before, but just like kind of seeing that visual representation, I'm like, wow, that's very real. Like how you can affect how someone feels. And so I think I try and think about that more and more each day. Actually, I have a bracelet. I'm not wearing it right now. It's called Ripple Reminder. It's just a reminder of just, hey, like the energy you put out is like what people will receive.
Did you make it because of that moment, the Ripple Reminder?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
I really wish I was wearing it. I take it off every now and like whenever, just like shower. But
I remember my first podcast. Sorry.
Piss poor planning, or whatever it goes.
The most important object you wear, and you just left it at home.
Yeah, it shows how important it is to me, right? No,
Pool,
it's just a
pool boy.
It's just a beaded bracelet, nothing crazy.
That's cool.
And it makes me think back to that moment yesterday with that guy at the door, and he's just like, no, like I'm gonna call the cops on you. Like, wow, like his energy is starting to affect me, and it's very real. Like you only notice it when like there's like someone who's like a very loud presence, like someone who is giving off positive energy, it makes you feel good, or someone who's threatening you, like you can feel that. My energy definitely started to dip a little bit, and I had to have this conversation with myself. I'm like, okay, his energy was not favorable, and it's starting to affect me. But like, how can I just control my own energy. And I think I'm still trying to figure that one out.
How do you? This is not from the list, but how do you feel about HEB employees?
I I wish they would stop charging me for their bags at the end.
Just bring your own. That's your fault.
I'm
going to be mean to your face for this one.
Forget.
That's your fucking fault, Austin.
Whatever. I'm standing my ground on that one.
They're not charging you. It's just their job.
Just quit doing your job.
Have you ever noticed how serious most of them are? Or do you just go to the one HEB where they're all happy?
I don't know. I think now that you mention it, they're no Trader Joe's, but I think I forgive. I asked someone a question at checkout for like, it's like, oh, are there any like coupons on this? Like, I sound like an old lady, and the guy's like, these are already the best prices. I was like, all right. I hate myself too.
Well, it's just one of those things. Like, there's gonna be upset employees everywhere, right? You go to enough service-related places, and not everyone's gonna be jumping for joy.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to build up the courage to ask one of them, like, have you noticed that here everything is better except the staff?
I've never really thought about it that way.
They're so mad.
They could be like a little snappy, maybe.
I want to be like, what is so miserable about checking people out? Is it because you're hungry and like you want one of my brownies? Take them.
Well,
I'm not going to eat all 4 of these brownies.
Let's flip it. What's so great about checking people out, maybe?
You live in Austin, Texas. You have a job. That money allows you to buy food, have a podcast, go see friends, rent a kayak. You get to talk to people all day.
Okay.
You're in an air-conditioned building when it's blazing hot outside. You get to think about what you're going to make for your next meal based off what the people that you're checking out are buying.
Fair.
There's 6 reasons.
I was just playing devil's advocate. I was just wanting to flip it and see. But I can see your point. I mean, Trader Joe's, like I feel phenomenal whenever I leave that checkout, let me tell you. I wish there was one closer to me.
Sorry. Maybe they'll build one.
Yeah,
but
I like the soapbox though.
I'm getting there though. I'm ready. There's a guy at the HEB I mainly go to named Casey, and I think we've had enough interactions. So I'm gonna be like, Casey, what's going on?
What the fuck?
No, that's not how I'm gonna word it. It's gonna be more of just like a.
Do we have beef? Come on.
Do we? Why are you guys so sad? Are they like flogging you in between your shifts or something?
Blink twice if you need help.
Yeah. Me and Austin will come save you. And Tyler probably too. We'll get him in on this.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Anyways, next question. I have a feeling you're going to say Uncle Frank for this one. Who in your life has that effect where they come in a room and they just change instantly? Energy is shifted.
I think I have a couple friends that are like that. Yeah, a couple friends from college, post-college. They enter the room and you're like, yeah, this person just shifted the energy in such a positive way. And that's why they're my friends. That's why I want to be around them. Just, there's a lot of charisma about them.
Is it genuine charisma?
100%.
How did they get like that?
They're extroverts. It's a good question. Like, how would you define someone who just has that aura, like someone who has that natural charisma about them? I think it's like a positivity thing. Like they know how to carry themselves, and not be an asshole. Like they're just very friendly people. Like people want to be around that. And how would you describe that? Like how would you define like what makes someone charismatic versus not?
Mm-hmm. I started thinking about one of my kinesiology professors in college who just we had class with her first thing in the morning. I think it was 8:15, which is pretty early when you're a college student.
Yeah.
Not now. Now it doesn't matter.
8 a.m. is criminal.
Yeah. But when you're in college, it's just like, what? And she was so genuinely excited to talk about muscles like and bones and anything else you would teach in a kinesiology class. And I think that with her and some other people that are coming to mind, they have tapped into something that they are very passionate about, where they're not just doing it because it's a paycheck, or in the case of your friends, it could be that they're just so genuinely happy to be around their people that it's just like an on switch for them.
Yeah, I think you're onto something where it's like you could be in a crowded room and this one person has the power to make it feel like you're one-on-one with them still.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are excited to be with you. They make you feel important.
Yeah.
It's a powerful trait to have.
Yes. Before I ask you this next question, were you raised Christian?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic. Was like confirmed. I kind of went to church growing up, but slowly faded out of that lifestyle. Like come middle school, high school, and then yeah, I was raised Catholic.
Does cursing bother you?
No, not at all.
I just realized, I was like, I don't know if I've actually heard him say like a fuck, shit, hell. I've just been dropping these left and right this whole episode.
No, it doesn't bother me. I'd say that, but like, it wasn't like we had a strict household by any means. I say raised Catholic because I'm not really Catholic anymore. Kind of fell out of the Catholic Church. Still Christian, but yeah.
Why'd you fall out of the church?
I think my parents just stopped bringing me to church.
Easy answer.
Yeah, they just disagreed with everything that they were teaching, and like I didn't really get into it. I was zoning out at church anyway. Only recently have I started going back and getting like reconnected with my faith.
Why'd you start going back?
I think I've just started connecting with a lot of people that are religious and faithful, and it started just like raising some questions in my life. Like just like thinking about like the things that I ought to do, like things like, oh, I have these like, you know, the gut instinct, these feelings of what I should be doing. You could call it right or wrong. But it's more like just innate to you. And having conversations with people that I respect, people that I consider successful, I find a lot of commonality and inspired by what they have to say. And so just going down this journey on my own just feels right.
What should you be doing?
You know, that is, like, I think a moment-to-moment question more than just, like, a bigger question. It's like, you know, should I not steal versus, like, steal in this situation? That's maybe not the best example, but kind of something that just guides you in moment to moment, if that makes sense.
Before you started going back to church, what was your North Star?
North Star? I can't say I had one. I don't know if like it's not that I was like following anything specifically. I was just kind of going through life, and feel like I have a little bit more guidance now, but trying to live with that purpose now, and you know, faith has given me some.
You mentioned some of the people that you're going back to church with have gained your respect. What about them do you respect?
That's a good question. I respect how much it seems like they know themselves. Like they are very sure of who they are and the success that they've had with their relationships, and at least what it seems like they've had, whether it's like starting families or even their careers, and it just seems like they kind of have it figured out a little bit. And, you know, most people don't have it figured out. I shouldn't say like, oh, only the people who are religious have it figured out. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But these people that do, like, at least there's some commonality there. I'm like, okay, just interesting. Let me explore this a little bit more.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
It's an interesting question. I would say I don't think I'm a 10. I don't think I'm a 1. I think 7 is such a cop out answer because everyone gives 7 for everything.
Uh-huh.
And so maybe I'll go down a little bit. I feel like if you asked me a year or two ago, I'd probably say like a 4, 5. Like I know what I like, but like in terms of like having a road paved, like know what the direction I'm going in life and like what I'm trying to build, I didn't necessarily have that mapped out. But I would say that, maybe like a 6 now. Like I have some direction at least. Maybe, honestly, maybe like a 7.5. I was trying to avoid the 7. We'll say 7.5. I know like I have a direction now, and I know what I like to do, who I like to spend my time with. But I'm still trying to figure out some parts of my life, like, you know, maybe like I know what I'm doing like immediately with my career, but like maybe not like 20 years from now. Who does though? Does that answer the question?
Sure.
Sure.
What would you do to get to a 10?
To know myself?
Yeah.
I think it's doing more internal work, understanding like when someone can ask you the question of like, who are you, where are you going, you just know. And I can answer those questions, but I think it's, and I know at the core of like what I like, but I think it's when I think what gaps I'm missing, it could be more of like, it could be the career side. It's like, or I don't know, it's a tough one. I feel like I'm not pondering on it well enough right now.
It's funny you bring up career because I feel like that's probably the smallest part of your identity.
I know, right? It's interesting. Maybe it's because I've been so focused on it recently. I've started a new job and I've really just been diving into it. But maybe I am not giving myself enough credit actually, because I know what I like to do, how I like to spend my time, who I like to spend it with, and what makes me me, what makes me tick, how to take care of myself, and that's what's important.
You're 85 years old.
Yeah, I am.
You're bear with me. You're on your deathbed right now. And you know that you have an hour left. Right here in this moment, what's your biggest thing that you'd be regretting?
Ooh. I regret maybe there was a point in my life back in 2021, maybe it was like during the pandemic. I was like really considering just buying a one-way ticket to like Asia or something. And I always think like, what would that timeline look like? I don't think I regret it at all, but I do think about those moments, like maybe traveling a little bit more and not worrying about the money so much, because I know that the money's going to come. I'm working hard and it's going to be there, but just, you don't have to work every single moment. Go on more adventures. Although I think I'm going on plenty, but go on more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get Austin out there in the world.
Yeah. What about you? I'm curious.
If I was 85 right now?
Yeah.
If I was 85 right now. The two things that come to mind are not being just unapologetically myself sooner.
So it's not like one moment necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And not letting my siblings and my mom know often enough how much I love them.
That last one is real.
Yeah.
It's very real.
Yeah, if I had 1 hour left right now, that's the two things that would weigh most heavily on my mind.
Do you think you don't do that last one enough? Or you just want to do it more?
I want to do it more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I feel like I know I'm going to call my mom right after this episode. Tell her hello, even though I called her yesterday.
Call her again.
I love calling my mom. I think
Does she pick up?
I'd say like 90% of the time.
My mom doesn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's too busy.
She's a very busy woman.
Of course. But I think you're onto something, though. I like the answer of, like, being someone instead of, like, oh, like, I wish I asked Becky out to the prom back in high school. Maybe I should have asked Claire out. Anyway, that's a story for another time. No. I think I wish that, and, like, I guess to kind of sum it up, is like gave less fucks. There's your fuck.
Got him.
Got him. I think it's like really just not caring what people think. And I think I cared a lot about what others thought, like through my teenage years and maybe a little bit in my early 20s as well. Like when I broke up with my first girlfriend, it weighed so heavily on like, oh, what she would think of me, or it's thinking like, oh, I should go out with these people because if I don't, like, what would they think of me, blah blah blah. But it's like, do what you want to do and life will be so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Do you have courage of your convictions? If someone is listening, or even yourself, and you're not familiar with that phrase, do you have the confidence to do what you think is right, even when those observing may not agree or approve?
So to do something that's right when others wouldn't approve.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an example? Nope. I think it depends. I think when I was younger, probably not. Like I think I was easily swayed into things. Peer pressure was real. But now it's hit or miss. Like there are some times when someone asks me to do something, and I think I struggle with that a little bit, where my immediate response to things or like requests is yes. And I know this isn't usually for like things that are like considered wrong. It's just more just like, hey, you want to go do this or can help me with this? It's to say yes, and that's me wanting to be helpful. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a positive trait. But when it's like every time and you're maybe, breaking a promise to yourself and it's weighing on you, like, oh, like you were supposed to do this other thing, that's when it becomes an issue with myself. So I'm getting better at it. So I think majority of the time, yes, but there are instances where I'm like, what am I doing?
Do you feel that you happen to life and you have the ability to enact change, or do you feel like life happens to you?
I think I'd be lying if I said that I am happening to life 24/7. But I feel like I'm in control. Like I'm doing what I'd like to be doing majority of the time, whether it's creating or working towards like my career now. Like I feel like I'm choosing to do these things. I'm not just showing up because I have to go through the motions. Like this is a job where like I have to show up and I work for myself, or I have to do like work on this project because I want to see what comes of it. Yeah, man, there are days where you feel like you're going through the motions and you're going through it and just hoping to get to the next day, I guess.
I like you, Austin.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're a very genuine person.
Wow.
I appreciate that about you. I can put you in this hot seat and ask you some really tough questions, and I feel like this whole time you have not bullshitted and you have just given me your honest answer to every single one, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Back in 2024, January, was that your first time going on a dry January or experimenting with any kind of like, I'm not going to drink for X amount of time?
That wasn't my first, actually. So I think I did a dry January prior to that. Maybe the year prior or the year before that. But that wasn't really when I started my sobriety, or like my alcohol-free lifestyle. It was September the year before, so like 3 or 4 months before that.
So like 2023,
It was
maybe?
It was September of 2023. If you want me to give the whole backstory,
Yeah, let's hear it.
okay. The summer of 2023, I was already having these conversations with myself of like, hey, you drink periodically, like maybe like once every 2 weeks, but when you do, like whenever I do, I usually just don't want to have one drink. If I'm like, oh, I'm gonna drink, like I want to like feel it and have a good time. I wasn't getting blackout. I wasn't getting crazy by any means, but it was enough where I'm like, okay, I usually can't stop, and it sounds like I have a problem, but I was like, just if there's a drink in my hand, I'm gonna keep drinking.
Mm-hmm.
It was just to the point where like I would just get nasty hangovers. I'm like, all right, I didn't like need to keep drinking that much, and like it didn't like necessarily add to the experience of the evening. But I'd still keep doing it, and I got better at like casually drinking. But then I'd always think like, oh well, maybe I didn't. Like, what was the point of that? We get to September of 2023. I go to, what was it called? Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany, with my sister and brother. Beer every minute. We're just drinking. It was an amazing time. Like delicious beer, nonstop. Like I wouldn't trade that moment for the world. Like, dude, I was dying by the end of it. Like I had a really early international flight going back to, it was like Denver after that, and I was so hungover. It was like this. It was the second worst day of my life. I was I was puking on like the subway on the way to the airport, and just so hungover. And I remember sitting on that subway train at like 5 a.m, and I promised myself right then and there, like, Austin, you're taking a break from alcohol. And like I had a good reason. I was like, I have a Spartan race coming up in like a month and a half. Like you can use that month to just, actually take this race seriously and train, not have any excuses, being hungover, blah, blah, blah. I get to the race, finish it, but I'm also just thinking like, oh, like we're almost to the end of the year. What's another I think at that point it was like 3 months. Like that'd be a great accomplishment, make it to the end of the year. And then I was just thinking like, well, wouldn't it be crazy if I went an entire year without alcohol? And so dry January is actually pretty easy to do because everyone's already like riding that wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's not drinking anyway, so I kind of just used that momentum, and that was around the time that I was making content. Actually, I was less than a month of making TikToks and Reels, and I made one dry January video, and it goes somewhat viral. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just keep making dry January content. I make one every day. Going through January, I just kind of felt obligated to. And yeah, I think my following just like kind of rose from there with TikTok, and then kind of with Reels as well. And yeah, just was like, okay, let's be crazy. Let's go all of 2024. And then it's like, why would I stop? Why would I break such a long streak at this point?
What impacted the let's say those videos just got like 100 views or whatever. Would that have changed anything for you? I know that's hard to speculate on things that never happened, but if you had to try.
Well, I did. I powered through. Like the first month, I was in the hundreds every time on TikTok, and I kind of like didn't mind. I was doing my cold plunge challenge, and it was for me. It was like a creative outlet. But then, yeah, you get some traction, and it kind of just brings you into this different mindset. Like, oh, maybe this isn't just a hobby. Like maybe this could turn into something. So it's kind of playing that back and forth a little bit. It kept me, I don't know, for the dry January, it's not like that's what kept me dry by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, because it was like somewhat ironic, because I was already, I was like kind of playing a bit during it. I was like, oh my God, like, what do we do? And I'm like,
yeah, you were. It was
like,
funny.
Like, damn, like, it's Wine Wednesday. Like, what am I supposed to do now? And really, I'm like, I wasn't going to drink anyway.
Yeah.
But we're all like thinking it.
Right.
Well, maybe not all of us, but it's part of the bit.
Not those making exceptions. That video made me chuckle too, where you're like, I thought the one rule was we don't drink during dry January.
Dude, funny enough, like I got reached out to by ABC News, ABC Nightline. They found my video, like, oh, you seem like you're taking this like very seriously, and you're like leading the charge. Like,
Sorry.
I'm like, I guess, I mean, I'm making consistent content around it, sure. I'm like, I have to say yes to this.
Is that who sent you the mock mojitos or that?
That was another brand. Dude, a lot of mocktail brands reached out to me. And dude, you could go on Hulu. Like my episode is on
What?
ABC Nightline, like Hulu. Like you could look it up. And I had a decent amount of screen time.
I know I
Not
had
to,
a
like,
celebrity over tonight.
Not to toot my own horn, but it's just like so funny. All my friends are like, they don't know that you like are like California sober. I'm like, it's what they don't know doesn't hurt them.
Yeah. Dude, it's I didn't realize hadn't called one of my friends since the day I launched the podcast, and I called him today right before you came over, and we talked for an hour. But when he picked up, he was like, "Oh my God, David O'Clair?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, what's up?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't too small for you not to call me anymore." And it's like, "Oh, brother, that's not even what's been going on. You live in Virginia, I live in Texas. Like, it's just geography, man. Like,
yeah."
And he wasn't being serious. Maybe he was a little bit because there's truth in jest. But it made me chuckle. Yeah. Anyways, so how long you been sober now?
Alcohol free for, I think, a year and 8 months. That sounds right. Doesn't sound wrong.
And I think it's interesting that you'd said, I forget if we were on mic or not yet, but you had mentioned there is no timeline for it. Like you haven't told yourself any kind of like, oh, I'm never going to drink again between now and the day I die. Do you think that's changed your success a little bit? Because I have some friends back in California who are in AA, and one of the things about that program that I think is interesting is that I'm probably going to get like fucking comments for this, but go for it. I think it's interesting that like if you have 3 years sobriety and then 3 years in a day and then 4 years and then 5 years, it almost feels like this fucking like pressure that's just building up like a tea kettle that's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And then if they drink, the timer goes back to 0. And the friends that are in AA, I'm so glad they're sober. I'm happy for them that they found a program that works for them. But I'm actually doing something similar myself right now where I have a rule where I only drink on Friday nights. And even then, it's not I'm going to drink every Friday. It's if me and Austin go out to pizza after this and we both want to grab a beer,
Sure.
I'm going to grab a fucking beer.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like the pressure, because I've done also like 30-day challenges where I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do something for 30 days. And for me, just for me, that feels way harder than just being like, you know what? I don't need to drink as much. And if I'm going to do it, it's going to be on Fridays. And if it's Thursday, I'm going to tell Austin, sorry, it's not my drinking night. And if Austin's like, dude, just have a fucking beer with me, my answer is going to be, listen, I made myself a promise.
Yeah.
And I believe that the way for me to build confidence is keeping the promises I make to myself. So it's not about me being a pussy or a bitch or I don't want to drink with you. It's the fact that in 2025, my ultimate goal is to keep the promises I've made to myself. And my promise to myself is I only drink on Fridays. You want to do this again tomorrow night? We can get smashed. Let's do it again tomorrow night. It's Thursday, bro. So I wonder for you, do you feel like by not putting that pressure on yourself of I'm not drinking until January 1st of 2026, is there like a weird psychological thing where it's almost making it easier for you to stay sober? Am I making any sense at all? Or am I just talking jalapeno lemonade and not making any sense?
Sounds so good right now. That was quite delicious.
We're out. I'm sorry.
I know. I saw that shot right there. I think it's easier to live your life within constraints. And I know it sounds weird to say, but like if you give yourself some guardrails, like you know what boundaries to play within. So if you're making a promise to yourself of you only drink on Fridays, like it's easier to do that than just be like, oh, I'll only drink sometimes, like you were saying. Like I only drink like every now and then. Well, what does that even mean? Whereas like for me, like I'm gonna go all of 2024 without alcohol. All right, I know what I can and can't do. Like I can't have alcohol this year, and now I'm at a point where like I don't really have any guardrails, and I kind of go back and forth. I'm like, oh well, when is it acceptable? Like I'm waiting for a moment at this point. I'm not saying like I'm living in turmoil because like, oh, when can I drink?
When is David going to offer me a shot already?
Yeah.
God damn it.
And like people listening are like, dude, like it's just alcohol. And like, you're right, it is just alcohol. But, like, I don't know, I've kind of like just made it this far. Like I also just like don't really want to drink anymore, which is I think fine. A lot of people are choosing not to drink, but yeah, I think.
So there's no particular, not to interrupt you, but is there any particular, so there's no guardrail at the moment. You don't have any, it's just sort of I don't really feel like it. I'm good without the hangovers. My wallet's a little bit healthier. And if the moment happens to come when I want to drink, then I will. But until that moment comes, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, the way I look at it is I will know when the moment feels right. And, you know, if it's just a Thursday night, we're getting pizza, I'm like, all right, this isn't like the moment for me. But I'll know when I know. And like I was at a wedding, like I told you a few weeks ago, and it still didn't necessarily feel like the right moment. Like to me, I was in a space that like felt like this is the time to drink. This is a celebration. But I also was just like, I don't know. I also know myself, like how I am, maybe on alcohol or post alcohol. Sounds lame saying it like that. Post alcohol.
That's a very true thing though.
Like,
like I hate feeling hungover.
Yeah, I just know how I feel, and I know I've had many conversations with myself. It's like the cons outweigh the pro for you specifically. For like other people, like for David, like maybe the pros outweigh the cons, but for like you, like you talk to yourself enough, or like gone through it enough that you know, and like so just don't do it, and you'll be okay. And I've made it so far, or made it this far, where I really don't get fazed by it.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, I will say I love how I feel and I love how I look.
Yeah.
It might sound vain, but like I see my gym game improving. I had a cutoff in the gym the other day. I was just like, man, I've lost some weight. It's like bad weight.
I thought you meant for a second when you do drink alcohol. I'm like, yeah, you do feel great. I get that. Yeah, you do look great on alcohol.
Thanks, dog.
Everyone's got the beer goggles. Yeah, I get that.
No, dude, I've been on similar to you, like I just been on a pretty long stint now where I've drank less in 2025 than probably any previous year. And I just feel, and I think it's a mix of things too. You know, starting the podcast, moving to Texas, and it was hard to, not hard. don't want to make it sound like I have everything dialed in, because I don't. But that was part of me and Tyler's talk at the end of January, was we were both really trying to take an honest evaluation and be like, what steps do each of us need to take separately, because it's going to be a different answer for both of us, of how we could really, like, whether it's in the next 30 days or this year, whatever the timeline is, step up our game. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? For me, it's booze. I'm going to scale this back quite a bit.
Yeah, I respect that. And the way I look at it is also it's probably easier to take something or remove something from your life than to add something. Like for me, like it's, you know, sometimes really hard to just wake up really early and go to the gym. It's like, as opposed like to just not drinking alcohol, like removing a liquid from your life. Like, yeah, there's like the social aspect of it and that you can't really get out of, but just because I'm not drinking alcohol doesn't mean like everything else is going perfectly. And like I have, you know, still trying to implement other habits that aren't necessarily sticking all the time. So, you know, we're trying to do our best.
Yeah. When I was 19, I was still going to church, and I was living in a 4-bedroom home. Was it just 4? Yeah, I think 4 bedrooms with 13 guys. And our pastor at the time wanted us all to go on a 40-day fast.
40-day fast.
And he says, I'm not going to tell you all to do food. And we did a lot of work for the church. And he was like, honestly, I don't need you guys fainting while you're in the middle of the workday. So he's like, what I want you each to do is to choose something that's significant and cut it out for 40 days and make an honest attempt to get through the 40 days without doing whatever the thing is.
To cut something.
Yeah.
Not add something. Okay.
Yeah. You could cut out porn. You could cut out, like, you choose your thing that you think will genuinely improve your life by the end of day 40. And I want you to cut that out. So we all go home and we're talking about it. Me and the 12 other guys are talking about it. Fucking John, dude. John was like, I'm going to cut out steak. And I was like, all right, that's fair. So he can still have like chicken and ribs. Like, he's just not going to have steak, I guess. So fast forward to like day 4. We get home from work. And John's in the kitchen eating a fucking New York strip. I'm like, John, day 4? Day 4? Is that the level of your resolve? Is 4 days? And steak? This is the thing that broke you? Was
right?
Steak? And he was like, no, steak is what I was doing for day 1. And all of us across the room were just like, huh?
Oh, honey.
Honey, baby, sweetie, poopsie. You missed the point. Yeah. He was like, today I cut out watermelon.
He's just removing things that are good for you.
So basically, like, every day, on day 6, he was like, I'm not going to go to In-N-Out today. Oh. And we were like, John, like,
that's like, tomorrow I'm not going to wipe my butt. It's like, what is your goal here, buddy?
And John, I might, just like when you're calling your mom after this, I might look up John on social media. He is one of those people where between me and the other 12 guys, him and me butted heads more than any other 2 guys combined. And we had more special moments than 2 guys combined. I don't know what it was about us. I miss John. I haven't thought about him in years. I wonder what he's up to. Hopefully he's not dead.
Hopefully maybe he's listening to this podcast.
I don't know about that.
That's interesting.
Fortunately, his last name is Mendoza. It's probably more than one John Mendoza on Instagram, so I might be a little fucked after this. But
what did you give up?
Ooh. I don't know if I'll be able to remember in this moment.
Okay.
I did something. I genuinely, it was it food related?
I don't even know what I'd give up.
I remember one of the guys was like, you should give up working out. I was like, why? And he's like, because you do it too much. I was like, no, that's fucking stupid. I think that was my buddy Mikey. I was like, Mikey, go back to Fresno. That's a real Fresno idea that you just brought to the table.
You should give up not working out.
Yeah.
Skinny boy.
Fat fucking hard ass.
Little bitch.
Mikey Guevara.
Stupid bitch.
You don't even know him. And you're getting such a
Fuck
kick
you,
out
Michael.
of it. The vein on your forehead is popping right now. Fuck you, Michael.
Damn, call me out.
Oh my god. Okay. Last question on this, and then we can move on.
Sure.
Unless you don't want to, we can stay on this all night. Has anyone given you any shit for it, or are most of your friends supportive enough that they're just like, yeah, okay, whatever?
Yeah, surprisingly, my friends have all been supportive of it. Like,
Why do you say surprisingly?
because I built up this story in my head that there would be resistance from other people. I think everyone kind of assumes that without giving up any vice, like, because like
Sorry, fuck you, Mike. Sorry.
it's like if you do something enough, you've probably built some relationships within that circle around it, whether it's like alcohol or maybe like drugs or something. Like you relate with your peers around it. So it's like, oh, well, my friends drink. Pretty much all my friends drink. And so I just kind of felt like it'd be hard to quit because of that, or like I would just get shit for it. But really, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, like good for you." And even like when we'd go out to dinners, like group dinners, when like everyone gets drinks, and then by the end of the night, everyone's like, "Oh, let's split the tab like equally, like everyone." Like, well, like I'd have a couple friends, like even like my friend Nikki, she'd just be like, "Oh, like Austin, like you didn't get any drinks, like we'll just like split it. You can Venmo me on the side." I'm like, wow, like. Just like little things like that, like just you care enough about me not drinking. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, now I'm at the point where it's just like everyone just like is like, yeah, Austin doesn't drink. like oh yeah, we're doing like a toast, and like people just like almost give it to me like, oh, I know you don't drink. I'm like, yeah, but I was like, don't make it sound like I'm lame.
You're not lame.
No, I'm
Austin, you're not lame.
I don't think it's.
I want you to say it about yourself. Say, I am not lame.
I am not lame.
Good job. Do you believe it? I feel like you don't
Michael
believe
is lame.
it. Yeah, he is. He's back in Fresno, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the road's been cool. The only person who's maybe like not giving me shit for it, surprisingly, it's like I feel like with my family back home, like everyone drinks still. Like in the Midwest, that's just kind of what you do. You just drink. And it's just more of just like, like you don't drink. Like, interesting. Like, that's just what everyone does.
What's the country in Europe that's like that? There's a particular country or city where they're like, it's almost like a part of life. Like you just, every meal, you're having a glass of wine, a beer. Do you know where I'm talking about? Is it Spain? Potentially?
I did a study abroad there, and it seemed like everyone was just drinking beer or wine for every meal. I mean, honestly, it's like every European country. Like England, Italy, Paris, Spain. I feel like they all drink like there's no tomorrow. Next thing you know, everyone from those countries is giving you shit on this in the comments.
I don't have much of a following in Europe anyways. So I don't really know what this means. Maybe you will. But as of 2019, the European countries with the highest annual alcohol consumption per capita were, I'll just give you the first one, Romania.
I was going to guess. Okay.
Sorry, guess number 2.
Romania.
Well, it gave me the top 5. So guess, other than Romania, guess what maybe one of the other 4 was.
Germany.
That's number 5.
England or UK? Anyone in the UK? Like Ireland for sure.
It's not on here.
Spain?
Unless these are cities within these countries and I just don't recognize the name.
You probably would recognize the city. So these are cities, not countries.
The European... No, it does say countries. These are countries. The European countries with the highest annual alcohol consumption per capita.
Is Spain not on the list? Is it going to be something weird? Not weird, but like Ukraine or something, like Croatia?
You're sort of close, I think.
Like Romania, that was like Bosnia or... Should maybe leave the Baltics alone. Let's go to like It's like Switzerland. I don't know, like France.
You ever heard of Georgia?
I thought that was in Africa. Maybe my geography is off.
You ever heard of Latvia?
It's one I would not think of on the spot.
The Czech Republic.
I know them.
But what does that mean? 17.4 liter. 17.4th liters. I'm just reading about alcohol. And whoa. It's the Zins. What does that mean per capita? Per year? 17.4 liters per year? That doesn't sound like a ton.
Per capita. I'm sure that's like per like 1,000 people or something. I don't know.
I feel so stupid with what I'm Googling.
Yeah.
How much is a liter?
A liter? That's what?
It's only 0.264 of a U.S. liquid gallon.
That's the only unit of measure that we use for. That's in the metric system, I think.
Well, whatever. Romania is the country of drunks. That's all I was trying to find out.
Damn.
According to alcoholhelp.com.
Alcohol. It's just, they're probably right. Get it together, Romania.
They would know. In 2024, circa 2024, you were laid off. Right? January 10th?
December of 2023. So pretty much. Like
right before Christmas.
Yeah, it was like mid-November is when they let us know that we have like a month and a half left with the company.
How'd that sit with you? Man,
I felt this sense of relief whenever they told me the news.
Really?
And like a micro panic, and just like, you ever just get like a slap in the face where it's like, oh, this is real. You ever had those moments where like,
oh yeah,
it's like, oh, like this is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those where it's like, okay, this is real shit. But there was definitely a moment when I got the call, like on the call, of just like, because I was thinking of leaving. Just do a deep breath. Yes. There's everyone listening. Do a deep breath with us.
Felt nice.
Yeah. Because leading up to that moment, I was already thinking of wanting to leave the company. I knew there really wasn't much progress, like on the team. Like there were only so many possibilities for raises and promotions and all of that. And so it's like, I just didn't really care much about healthcare. Like, sorry. And so it just kind of felt like the kick in the butt that I needed. It was like, okay, like this is a moment for me to actually find something that I care about, which is weird. I actually really liked what I did. I genuinely liked the team that maybe not necessarily the teammates by any means, but it was like I loved the work that we were doing. We were designing and facilitating workshops. We were creating a gathering, a space for people to ideate and break down problems and build solutions on projects, on products, and different ideas. And I actually apply that same methodology like outside of work a little bit with like my friends, like I did like for the gathering for the creators. But it was so niche. It's like event planning, but not event planning. Like it was like strategy consulting. But anyway, it was like is so unique that it was really hard to find a job that was similar. There were ones that were maybe adjacent to it in that field, but I just kind of had to have an honest question myself. Like, do I really want to get back in like maybe the tech space? Do I really want to get back into the corporate world as well? Do I really want to just climb the ladder? Like, what do I want? And this is all around the same time that I was making content. And so I had 3 months of severance, luckily, to kind of like figure my shit out. I was like this close to buying a one-way ticket to Bali. Another moment where I'm like, damn, what could have been? But I know deep down, if I just bought that one-way ticket, I was just running away from figuring out what I want to do. And so I just knew, like, don't buy that ticket. Keep working on finding like what you want to do in this life. Like I know, like, oh, go travel the world. You only have so much time to do that, but like I felt like this was a good opportunity. It's like kind of just learn more about myself. So I got connected to an agency because I was in the social media sphere already, and actually I wanted to get into sales, and so this was influencer management, and I was working in that space for a little bit with a small startup boutique agency. Loved the team, they're great, but it just wasn't really clicking with me necessarily, and it wasn't the lifestyle that I was looking for. Like I was just working off my laptop, emailing people all the time, and just wasn't having much success after like half a year. Like if I'm going a half a year without like really seeing the fruits of my labor, I got to take that as a sign. So I'm like, okay, I need to like kind of figure something out. I'm not making any money right now. And slowly but surely just like find this new job, and I'm loving it so far.
Roofing sales.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What a pivot.
Tremendous character arc, let me tell you. Like I've had like I've maybe like 7 forms of income over the past year. It's been interesting. None of them like stable by any means. Not all of them stable, but yeah, it's been an interesting ride.
I have a question for you. I meant to ask you 2 hours ago,
Sure.
but I got distracted by your pecs when you walked in.
So big, I know.
They are very, very beefy. What's in the bag?
This I brought something for you.
Really?
Yeah. If you want to open it right now.
Yeah. Dude, you're only the second person who's ever brought me something. Thank you so much.
Really? One of them is not all for you, but you get to pick something out of it. But so, well, it's like you don't even want all of it. So you get just open the bag.
Wait, before I do, how do you know I won't want all of it? What if I open this up and you see me turn into a kid on Christmas morning, and you're about to take away a portion of my joy?
You'll know exactly what I mean when you see it. Yeah.
Is it like a bunch of bananas?
Wouldn't that be nice? You want bananas?
I mean, I'd eat them.
You can these are gifts for you.
This is so nice of you. All right,
Yeah.
Let's see what he brought.
It's a t-shirt that I designed.
Oh, an extra large.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I open this?
Yeah, absolutely.
He knew that this wasn't a small guy's podcast.
Yeah, no.
He
not
knew
at
this
all.
wasn't Mikey's podcast that he was going on.
This is one of the first t-shirts I designed. This is the first t-shirt that I ever designed. I call it Blast Off. One of my favorite drawings I ever made back in, I think I made it in like 2018. And I decided to put on a t-shirt. I was like, this is...
Dude, I love this.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Blast Off. And there's a little rocket on the back.
Little rocket on the front. Yeah.
I love this, dude.
Yeah.
Smells new.
Yeah, it is new.
And look, that's you.
That's my signature.
What's L for?
My middle name.
Which is?
Lee. Austin Lee Burton. Yeah.
Austin Lee Burton. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I already think I know which item I want, but now I have to...
No, you get all of them.
I thought you said I'd only want a part of it.
No, like you get everything. Like you can, that's your hat.
Okay.
I designed that hat.
Is this a particular state or city or mountain view, or is it just something you...
Just something that came off the dome.
I
Just
love
like,
this.
Yeah, I think I saw something similar. I was like, oh, like I want to make it my own. That's cute. Oh.
He's not feeling it. He's like, that's not do that. All right,
Yeah.
and this is the one that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like just a shit ton of stickers. So.
Oh, by the way, there's the hat.
Yeah.
There's the shirt.
Hell yeah. And then a lot of stickers. Like you can take which ones you want, but there's multiple of each.
All right. I like this one. I like the purple and the orange. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, it's room is
Yeah, right.
purple and orange. Oh, it's a little giraffe with stunner shades on.
That's the groovy giraffe.
The groovy giraffe. I
That
like.
one-
You designed all of these?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a fox? Coyote.
That is a desert fox. I call it Desert Days.
Desert Days. I like how it has both daytime and nighttime in it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's probably my favorite design.
What's this one?
I just made a design, and I always ask people like what they see because I get a different answer every time.
Blood cells. Little amoebas.
Yeah, I've gotten that before.
Oh, look at this guy
Yeah.
with all his little paws in there.
Little inside out turtle.
Oopsie.
Might be a few more.
Oh, this one's sick.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Call that.
Someone was on some psychedelics when they put. Someone popped a gummy when this one got created.
Dude, I saw some shit. I was in Caprock Canyon. Yeah, we had a good day that day, and I just wanted to make a design with some mountains that look similar. They call it contour camping.
I like that one. This one's cool. It's
Yeah,
a
that
little more
one's-
simple.
Yeah, that one's a little more simple.
You got
That
some
was
birds.
Yeah, that was.
That was during the sober period.
That was before. That was like still figuring out how to draw a little bit.
Got a pineapple. What's going on here?
That's the pineapple zigzag. Put that shit upside down and you'll open up the gates to a good time.
That look on your face. This guy. All right, we got 3 more.
Hell yeah.
Another blast off.
Yeah, I call that one, I think, Neptune's orbit or something like that.
You can sort of see it.
Yeah.
Got a little rainbow shimmer going on.
Yeah.
This guy's cute.
Yeah, Space Cadet. Yeah, that dude's dope.
That guy is dope.
Yeah, he's just like a little chiller.
Yeah, dog.
Then you was like travel through space with him. Like your little.
He's traveling through this right here.
Oh. Oh yeah.
He's trying to.
Got stuck in one of the dimensions.
What's this one?
Just a blue line design.
Blue line design. That BLD, baby.
BLD.
Blue line design.
Yeah.
BLD.
Yeah.
Yeah. You fucking feed me, dog?
Dude. I fucking feel you, dude.
Did you
Yeah.
see Interstellar?
Oh yeah.
I just watched that movie for the first time like 2 or 3 months ago, and man, I need to watch it again. I know there's a few things I missed.
Did it make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those where like I watched it a second time. Like, okay, yeah, okay, we're good. this makes more sense.
Yeah, dude, and what a cast. Fucking Michael Caine, Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway. Who else is in there that I'm forgetting? Matt Damon.
Oh, I haven't seen this movie in years. I love it. I just like forgot. Wow.
Just while I was watching it, like I knew Matthew was in it, but then like 5 minutes in, Michael Caine showed up. I was like, all right, that's sick. And then Anne Hathaway showed up. I was like, sick. And then like an hour later, Matt Damon showed up. I'm like, fucking, let's go.
Wow, let's ride.
We didn't waste any money on it. Spared no expense, as John Hammond would say.
Yeah, made
Yeah.
its money back. I'm sure. I forget what the other Leonardo DiCaprio movie like. Which
Interstellar?
not Interstellar. It was
Titanic.
no, it was one of those like it was one of those like mind bending ones
With Leo?
with Leo. It was the same director. People are probably screaming in the headphones.
This is going to bug me.
This is it. It's the one with the dreams.
Oh, Inception. I said
Inception.
Interstellar again. I meant
Yeah,
to say Inception. But
Inception. That's my jam.
did you know who Hans Zimmer is?
Yeah, he was just here in Austin.
Did you go?
I wish.
It was so good, dude.
Oh yeah.
So much fun.
I bet my roommate went. Oh, it sounded epic.
Yeah, it was a really good
Literally
time.
and figuratively. Yeah.
Yeah, it would, dude, chills up my spine during some songs, and just the fucking talent that they brought to the table. Every single member of the band just knew their shit so well.
I'm sure.
Hans was super funny when he did his little commentary in between songs. If he comes back to Austin, make it a priority. Grab some mates, get your ass over there.
I will.
Dude, thank you
will.
so much for my my gift. Guest number 2, 125 episodes in. I'll put this right there
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you don't forget it. Did you mind that I took every one of each? Did that make you upset?
No, that's fine.
It's not like you can do shit about it, small boy. It's the most hostile I've ever been on here. I swear.
It's the jalapeno lemonade. It's just
Come get your stickers back.
and you lucky this microphone's in between me and you right now, or else I'd be
You
getting all
fucking beat me, dog.
fucking beat your ass.
I dare you to harsh my fucking mellow.
Yeah, I'm too
Bring it.
I'm too chill off that lemonade to get get on that level.
Yeah, I am too. There's all sorts of shrooms in that thing. So enjoy. Not sober anymore.
Guys already said California sober. We're good.
Oh man,
Yeah,
dude, I'm
XL,
gonna
I'm
wear
glad I
this
got the-
shirt.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I got the right size.
I upgraded recently. I can't do the larges no more. I got to wear those XLs, baby.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear this.
It's very
Who's
comfy.
coming on the podcast next? John. I'm gonna wear this for John's episode on Monday
Let's go,
night.
John.
Yeah.
Lucky
see what he
John.
thinks of it. Lucky John.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a hat guy, but
I'm a hat guy.
thought you'd be.
Yeah, I am a hat guy. I love hats. I wear them to the gym. I wear them when I'm sad. I wear them when I'm mad. I do the.
What about this is
Well, I
Dr.
won't-
Seuss like book? I wear them when I'm up. I wear them when I'm down.
It's so funny.
I wear them all around town. Okay.
It's so funny you say that because I really like putting puzzles together,
I saw
and
it.
then I glue them and I frame them, and I just finished a Dr. Seuss puzzle, so maybe there's like some ripple effects coming out of the puzzle.
Probably.
Oh my goodness, this is such a good time.
Yeah.
I think I had at least one more question for you, but I'm forgetting at the
Let it
moment.
rip.
Who's Clara?
Oh yeah.
That's your fault.
No, I mentioned that like the high school prom. I was joking about Claire. She's a lovely lady that I didn't ask to prom because of friend drama.
I have a better question for you.
Yes.
January 17th, 2024, you did something that you thought you could only do on alcohol. Do you remember what it is? Was?
I cold approached a girl.
Yeah, dog.
Let's go.
Talk to me about that.
Man, that is something I've gotten better at as I've aged. Just going up to a girl and just saying hello, expressing some interest. I guess at that time, I had recently deleted the apps, and I couldn't rely on alcohol as a crutch for like going on a first date. You know, like that's such an easy go-to. Like, oh, let's grab a drink. And so, I don't know, cold approaching a girl it's very old school. And so I don't think it went anywhere. I mean, definitely it didn't if I'm still single. But I don't know. I'll still do it periodically. It's exhilarating.
How nervous were you?
I'm trying to remember the context of the situation, like the video. Hey, it's probably at like a Trader Joe's, if I remember correctly. Maybe not.
Noticed you got some beef in that cart, toots. I hope.
That's a lot of onions you got there. You gonna eat those alone? Anyway, I'm Austin. Nice to meet you. How about that egg aisle? Egg prices. Yeah, that's a funny one to bring up. I think more guys should cold approach women. You know, there's nothing wrong with the apps, and I think it's very convenient, but we shouldn't forget about going up to a random woman. Not even just like someone like in the friend group. Like that's an easy layup. Like, oh, you have a warm approach with someone that you already know at a party or friendly introduction. But going up to someone like completely blind, not blind, but like, you know, cold, it's, you know, a fun part of life.
Dude, when I moved to Austin, I didn't know a single person here, and I was terrified of being lonely. And so I'd made myself a promise. Sorry for the audience, you've heard this a few times, but not in like 20 episodes or so maybe not.
It's okay.
But I made myself a promise every time I walked out that front door, I would cold approach someone just for whatever, podcast guest, love interest, whatever it may be. And since I moved to Austin, this is every single person that I have ever cold approached and something that I learned about them during that conversation.
Wow.
And this list, as you can see, just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
That's inspiring. That's the word that comes to mind when I see that list.
It's a pretty cool list.
Because one, you're keeping a promise to yourself is what I notice. You've got integrity just based on that list alone. Two, it's you're you're actually interacting with the world. Like when you're living alone, especially, like you have to like really go out of your way to interact with someone, let alone a stranger. And so, I mean, it's just a great way to explore life, especially like in your own city. Just like go say hi to someone. Like doesn't have to be like in a romantic way. It could just be someone you're sitting next to on the bus or at a grocery store. Just, hey, I like your shoes.
That's oftentimes one of the that's an easy one. Is just you point out something.
Yeah, something you like about them.
Look at that green rope around your wrist.
Don't look at that.
You like trees or something? That's probably not what I would say if I saw you.
Private property.
Oh my God, get out. I forgot I told you about that. I'm regretting that now.
What is, Ben, like, what is your go-to, or like, how do you usually go about cold approaching people?
So this is partly true, partly not. I will go up to random people and say, hey, do you mind if I interrupt you? Let's say we're at Zilger with the dogs. I'll be like, hey, are you out here with your dog too? Oh, yeah, which one's yours? This is a really cute dog. Hey, I have a super random question for you. Before I ask it, my name's David. What's your name? I host a podcast here in Austin, Texas, and some of my favorite guests have been people that I have just walked up to and asked them, what would you talk about if you went on a podcast where there is no particular subject that we hover around? And that truly has been one of some of my favorite episodes. One that I go back to quite often was a lady who was a psychologist specifically in trauma. And she said she would come on the show. That sounded like a fascinating topic to me.
Yeah.
So then just like you, I have a phone call with everyone. So I was like, can we exchange numbers? And do you mind if we have a phone call? I'll get out of your hair so you can keep, she's at Burton Springs. I was like, that way you can go about your day. Could we have a call in a week or two? I'll answer anything you want to know about the pod. And I would have a few follow-up questions just so I can sort of wrap my head around like what direction we'll take this conversation.
Yeah.
And she said, sure. So then when we jump on the phone, she said, I would be willing to talk about something I've never talked about before. If you're interested. And I was like, well, throw it at me and let's talk about it for a few minutes. And she said, have you ever heard of a religious organization on the front and a sex cult on the back called the Children of God? And I said, no, I've never heard of it. And she said, I was born into it. And I was raised on a ranch of 150 people. And I was never allowed to leave the ranch. And so because I didn't know any better, I had no idea that what we were doing on the surface was with very good intentions of trying to bring people to know Jesus Christ and find salvation. But behind the scenes, we had men that were having sex with underage girls, and both truths existed at the same time. And when I was 15 years old, I knew that something was wrong, but I didn't know what. And the main pastor was the only one with a key to the gate. And I convinced his son to help me sneak into his room one night, open the gate so I could escape. And when she escaped, she, long story short, found some friends. They were all sitting around a bonfire one night or something, and she started accidentally talking about how her uncle was having sex with her when she was like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. And she said, by the looks on everyone's faces, she immediately knew that was the thing that was wrong in their family, or all 150 people consider each other family members. So then she went down this rabbit hole of just drugs and alcohol from realizing what the beginning of her life was like. And ultimately, she went to a lot of therapy and went back to school and got her degree in psychology. And now she's on a mission to help other people heal from their own trauma. So when I approach people with that line, it is not a lie. That truly one of my favorite episodes was someone I went up to at Burton Springs and just had this insane story that she had never shared publicly. And part of the reason was because she thought that, especially coming from a male, that I would just try to get as many sex stories out of her as possible. And one of the biggest compliments that I've ever been paid was from her. And she said that when she talked about it, she would want the story to come out in a very particular way. And she said the way I navigated it was just so respectful to her. And so now, I would say like 10 to 20% of the guests have been very similar situations where it's just been people I approach. But even if it doesn't lead to them coming on the podcast, it's led to very interesting conversations, workout buddies, friends. Sometimes we never see each other again today, but it is such an easy line to just be like, hey, if you came on my podcast, what do you think you'd want to talk about?
It's just an if. It's just a rhetorical question.
Yep.
I like that. There's no pressure.
No.
And I think that's a great way to break the ice with someone. It's like you could take that anywhere, or take it any direction. Like the question I like to ask random people is like, if you could write a book about anything, like what would you choose to write about? I think. What are some other fun answers you've gotten?
There's actually one guy I'm working on right now, who he was like hardcore drugs.
Just hardcore drugs.
And I was like,
is he an addict?
Well, so I said, you've had a bit of a spotty history, haven't you? And he's like, oh, no. I think he said that to try to like turn me off to him a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I want to actually talk about that. And I was like, well, what would you talk about then? And he's like, well, my girlfriend's more of the one who, she does a lot of podcasts. Maybe I can introduce you to her. Oh. We talked for a few minutes. Ended up, I went on, shook his hand, told him I appreciated his time. We went our separate ways. Fast forward 30 minutes when we were both in the sauna at the same time. And when I was talking to him on the workout floor, he had his hat on, hoodie over his head. Hoodie was covering up most of his neck, had on long pants, shoes. When he's in the sauna, stripped down to a pair of shorts, and he is covered head to toes in tattoos. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, he thought he was going to scare me away with the truth, but this motherfucker piqued my curiosity. And now I really want him on my podcast to find about this hardcore drug usage that he... Yeah. So he's he was a good one. Another one was a guy who ended up leaving the police force because he almost died in a DUI crash. Not him, but the lady who was driving drunk hit his car and killed herself upon impact. That was a really powerful story. Another one was a male who battled bulimia. I think that's a story that's more common in females. So getting it from a male's perspective was really powerful. Interesting. And that's the reason I keep doing it, man, is because people don't talk about this stuff. Like, how do you put that on your Instagram to be like, oh, yeah, I got hit by a drunk driver yesterday. She's dead. And I'm now out of the police force because I can't do the things that the Texas PD requires me to do. People don't talk. So I find that, so people have such crazy stories. Yeah. And I've had a couple people approach me and been like, when are you going to start getting bigger guests on? Like with like 1 million followers? Like, when are you going to get your first celebrity? I'll be like, man, I don't need a fucking celebrity. I had Austin on last night. Like, let's go.
I think that everyone's got a story, and shining a light on, let's say the common person, the common folk, but like, just like someone you could have a conversation with, and isn't, not everyone knows who they are and their story like already. It's like it's already been told. And you know who they are, but just like hearing it from someone that you could maybe relate to because they're not famous and well known is interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Dude, I love what you're doing with this. I love like the message you're spreading and just that you're letting your curiosity drive this. This is special.
It is. There is a funny one, more lighthearted one. I had a guy on, and like 3 months later, I got together like 8 or 9 people to go to a Austin Stars hockey game. And at one point his girlfriend comes over and sits next to me, and she's like, in a way, you're responsible for this relationship. And I was like, why is that? And she's like, well, Joe asked me out, and I said yes. And when we went on our first date, he just casually mentioned that he was on a podcast, not in like a bragging way or anything. Didn't even say the name of the podcast, nothing. So she went home and she just Googled like Joe and then his last name and then like Austin podcast or something. Yeah. And she found the episode and she listened to the entire thing. Mm-hmm. And she loved everything, how he presented himself so much that her own curiosity door got unlocked. And she's like, I want to find out more about this guy. About Joe, not me. Right. And I was like, dude, what a cool fucking story. That's so sick that like that episode just happened to come out like the same week you guys went on your first date. Oh yeah. And then you were able to find out things about him that normally you wouldn't be able to, because most people, or not most people, but like it's just a rare thing to be able to have like a 2-hour insight into Austin's life.
Right. I mean, it's just a lot of these topics don't come up organically on first date, second date, or third date. Like I know it's a little bit more casual, but I was actually thinking in the middle of this episode, like at some point, like, man, if I was ever dating a girl, like, I'd want her to know more about me. It's like I could just send her to this podcast, like, or it'd be like, or it'd just be hilarious if she did find out about this, and then she could find out about me, and either it makes her like me more, or she loses interest, and I think either way goes in my favor.
Yeah. Well, I think no's are a quicker way to get to a yes. So if she heard something in here that for some reason it turned her off to you and she didn't want to go out again, it opens the space for you to be able to find the right person quicker than if you guys had wasted time spending 3 months dating each other for her to find out that thing 90 days from now.
Exactly.
So
it's like, oh, I didn't like how he like presented himself. Like, okay, if that's what's you're gonna get hung up on, and like, that's fine. Like, that helps me filter you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one guy, I've only taken one episode, or that's a lie, I've taken 2 episodes down, but one of them was because when a guy was younger, he told a story about when he went on an acid trip, and he jumped in his car, and he was driving down some road that had trees on either side of it, and as he was driving down the road, he saw the trees coming in, and he thought that they were getting closer and closer, and they were going to try to kill him. So in order to and then he also didn't know if he was dreaming or if he was awake.
Jeez.
So he convinced himself he was dreaming. So to awaken from the dream, he gets out of his car and he's waiting on the other side of the road, waits for another car to come his direction, and then jumps in front of it to wake up from the dream.
He kills himself.
He lived.
Well, he lived.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he started dating someone, and he hits me up and he's like, listen, I met her dad tonight, and I don't think he would like that I went on an acid trip. If it comes out organically, I will tell him. But can you take the episode down? And I was like, what if I just cut out that story? Because I could just take out those 12 minutes, stitch it all together, and it'd be great. Mm-hmm. And he was like, could you just take the whole thing down? And I was like, fine. It's such a bummer, too, because it was such a good episode, even without that story.
Right.
But still, I've never done acid, but I was like, you know what? Thanks for telling me that, because you just confirmed why I will probably never do acid.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good sales pitch for acid. No. And you definitely should keep things in mind. Like, okay, I'm on a podcast. There's a chance like my mom listens to this. Let's maybe filter out some stuff. Let's still keep it authentic.
Right.
Yeah.
You just don't. Yeah, you don't have to tell your, all the things. It's not a confessional up in here.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no door between us with some,
Oh, that'd be funny though.
Austin, this has been so much fun. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about while we were here on mic? Because you can never come back. I'm kidding. I would love to have you back. If you came back on every now and then, dude, this has been so much fun. Open door. Please come back if you're willing to.
Have you had repeat?
A couple.
Yes?
Yeah,
okay.
Under 5 probably, but yeah.
Okay, that's fun. Dude, I'm very open to this. This is fun.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, this is casual. It's fun. It's real. Like conversation. You get to know someone a lot better, and maybe I can ask you some more questions next time as well.
Yeah, fire away.
About me, I guess.
Or even it doesn't have to be about you. Just anything that you'd want to riff on for a few minutes.
How did you get started with the podcasting? Like, why?
So I was a guest on probably like somewhere between 6 and 10 other podcasts, and all of them were virtual. And partly because it was in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. So that's, the digital pivot that everyone was making. Mm-hmm. And the first one was super fun. The second one was pretty fun. And by number 7 or whatever, I was just so bored of I felt like I was saying the same, because it was all for my job. So it was all just like, so it was very repetitive.
Yeah.
So I had so much fun, even with the 7th one. I was like, I want to start a podcast. So I thought about it for 2.5 years. Talk about a serious case of analysis by paralysis. Is that what they call it? And then finally I was like, you know what? one of my coworkers named Norbert came up to me one day and he's like, what are you doing? What's been up with you? And I was like, same old, same old. And for some reason I hated that answer. I was like, I'm not doing anything. Like, that's sad that we haven't seen each other since 2019, pre-pandemic, and I am the living epitome of that phrase that most men die at 25 and aren't buried until they're 75.
Wow.
And I need to get out of this yesterday.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about where I could move, that I could start a podcast where all the conversations would be in person. Long story short, I found Austin. And so that was in July of 2022. And in October of 2022, I found this apartment and I signed a lease. And I knew, I was like, the only way I'm going to get there is if I sign a legal document. So I'm fucking stuck. Like, I have to go.
Yeah.
So I signed a lease and went to
Before you even got here.
Yep.
Respect.
Went to Thanksgiving, got there a little before the rest of the family because I wanted to tell my mom. And I was like, the day after Christmas, I'm moving to Texas to start a podcast. And my mom was like, what? And I said, the day after, I repeated it. She starts crying.
Oh, wow. It's like that.
Yeah. And then my older sister got mad at me because she was like, David, I was going to wait for like 3 weeks. And then right before Christmas, tell mom I was going to New York. And now you ruined it because you beat me to it. I was like, well, you can still go. She did. She went to New York. She's there right now. But anyways, got to Christmas Day. And in between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, I either sold, threw away, or gave away everything that I couldn't fit in the trunk of my car. And I put that in the passenger seat. And we drove out to Austin, got here on December 27th. And by February 24th, I recorded the first episode. And I made myself a promise based off the statistic that of all podcasts, 90% of them stop recording around episode 3. And of that 10% that's left, another 90% stop by episode 20. So I said, no matter what happens in this 1-year lease that I just signed on this apartment in Austin, I will record and put out 21 episodes. And if somewhere in those 21 episodes, I figure out who's the target audience, what kind of guests do I want to have on, I will continue recording. Somewhere in those 21 episodes, probably episode 13, 14, 15, I don't remember, a guest turned the tables on me. And like you mentioned, you might do if you were to come back on, when you come back on. And he got me to open up about about the last night that me and my dad ever saw each other. And it's a story. And so I remember I'd never talked about it publicly before. Like, many of my guests have never talked about things that publicly before. And I was like, I have to release this because I'd be a hypocrite not to. I was so afraid. But I was like, all my guests have done the exact same thing and put themselves in the hot seat and said these stories that they may have not wanted public, but they were brave enough to do it. So the episode goes out on a Saturday. Fast forward to like Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm in the gym. I'm doing squats. I'm in between sets, and this kid comes up to me, 18 years old, maybe 17 at the time, and he makes eye contact with me, and he takes off his headphones. And I took off my headphones. And he doesn't introduce himself. First sentence out of his mouth is, we have something in common between us. And I said, what's that? And he said, in your family, your dad's the monster, but in my family, it's my mom. And he went in to tell me about everything that his mom, just the terror that she rained on this family, and how it brought him to a point of attempting to commit suicide. And he failed, fortunately. And it was in that moment I realized that, and that's, where the message that I sent you on Instagram came from, is that I have this delusional belief that every story that gets told on this podcast is meant for one person. And that's why I have told almost nobody the numbers. Whenever someone asks me, how many numbers does your episodes get? I say it doesn't matter because it's only meant for one person. Whatever your story is, there's going to be one person on planet Earth where they needed to hear everything that Austin went through because they're going through it right now. And it's going to light just enough of a fire for them to keep going and figure out what the next page of their story is going to be. And so I figured out what the exact mission was in those 21 episodes, thanks to that young man that approached me. We're still in contact today. Talked to him 2 nights ago. And that is the mission I'm on, Austin, is just to light as many candles in the darkness as I possibly can between now and when I die.
That was beautiful. I mean, I love the mission so much. I mean, I saw your sticky note in the bathroom. Just the number one metric is like, are you having fun with it too? Well, you can't fail if that's your metric. If you're just trying to have fun with it, if you're trying to inspire even just like one person, like, and the fact that I feel like, yeah, I guess I'm contributing to this. That's wild.
Fuck yeah, you
that's
are.
That's wild. I appreciate you having me on this. This has been a blessing. This has just been a very, very special moment. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a good metric, man. It's so much fun. Like, you take all the serious shit out of the way. Like, how many laughs did we share tonight? You brought me a gift. We got to share some jalapeno margarita, or not margaritas, jalapeno lemonade.
So good.
So good. Such a fun time.
Yeah. Next time we can share a Zin.
I'll bring some 3s. And I'll make a bigger pitcher of lemonade. I apologize.
It's all good. No, man, go through 2 pitchers next time.
Fuck yeah.
So good.
I'll have to go buy another pitcher.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if I can like follow up that question. That was just such a beautiful answer.
Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me share it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Man, you're doing a great job. You're doing just a beautiful thing in this world. You're spreading people's stories, like whatever that is, that's inspiring in different ways. These messages are, like you said, they're touching someone, and the message is unique every time, and you can't replicate that. So hats off to you, man.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to come back on.
We've got unfinished business here.
We do. Yeah. Did you have fun? I think I know the answer to this,
I
but
did.
I got to ask.
I genuinely like this. Yes, this was cool.
Were you the one that put on your form that you did a podcast, but it had never been released?
Yeah.
All right, sorry. I talked to like 5 people that week, and I was like, was that you or was that someone else?
No, you're all good. Yeah, it was. I never reached out to the guy and asked why, because he kept releasing episodes.
Oh no! And he never communicated anything.
It was a guy I went to high school with. We were friends. I'm like, maybe the audio sucked. Maybe like it just was not interesting at all. And
what year was it?
2019.
6 years ago. I imagine that would have been quite a different episode than tonight's was.
Oh yeah, very different. I was a different person. I looked different too.
What was their? Did they have like a niche? Like, was it a fitness podcast, a business podcast, or was it sort of freeform like this one is, where it was like, let's just shoot the shit and talk about whatever?
He chose people that he considered inspiring in the creative space, I believe, or just like entrepreneurs or creatives, those types of people. And so at that time, I started my lifestyle brand, and I was, releasing my art and, showing this a side of me that no one's ever seen. And that was a cool way for me to, I guess I didn't get to share with the people, but it's not like he's not even doing the podcast anymore, actually, but so it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, that's when, we didn't even like go down the whole art.
Well, I was just going to ask, I have failed you because I almost forgot to bring up the thing, BirdsEye Lifestyle.
BirdsEye Lifestyle, baby.
Let's riff on this for a few minutes before you go home for the night.
Yeah,
Why'd you start it?
I've got time.
Yeah, talk to me about this.
Yeah, so how much time you got?
You want to be? I don't have any more lemonade, but do you want like a sparkling water or anything, or are you
Take
good?
Sparkling water.
You want a sparkling water?
Yeah, I think those are more fun.
Do you want wild cherry or blackberry?
Ooh, wild cherry sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Put the brand out so we can get
Rambler, be the first sponsor of the podcast, brother. I don't even know if it's a guy, sister. Brought to you by Rambler. Yeah, I'd love it if a company like Rambler.
Cheers.
Cheers to your health. Oh, here's one for you. We're going to have to cheer one more time. Let me put these fuckers back on. I'm partly just trying to remember how it goes. All right, here we go. All right. There are good ships and there are wood ships. Ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they forever be. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
You ever heard that one?
No, I like it.
This is a little AMR right
some
there.
ASMR for the
Just
for
put
the
half
listeners.
the audience to sleep. Wake back up! You got to hear about BirdsEye.
Let me tell you a story about BirdsEye Lifestyle. So, should we go back to like the origin of like? I mean, may as well. We're here.
Let's do it.
So. I was feeling it coming. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I've always liked art class growing up. One last one. Excuse me. I always enjoyed creating. I always, took like sculpting classes, drawing classes in high school. Whatever. It's just like it was for school. And then college, I never had an art class, and I didn't. Maybe if something, I felt like something was missing. I was always like creating. I like creating like videos. I was like big on Vine, and I would always like make my own videos on the side, just like with my friend. Yeah, like I enjoy like just making videos and just creating in general. It wasn't until summer going into senior year of college, and with my friends, and one of my buddies, he brought his sketchbook to the hangout. We're all just like kind of doing our own thing, nothing crazy, and he brought the sketchbook. I'm just going through it, and he's not an artist by any means. He doesn't sell art. He's these sketches, they're not like, I can't say they're like world class. They're not like elementary, but like it's just a book for him. Like, and they're good. They're fun drawings, and it's like slightly a journal as well. Like, this is just your sketchbook. This is for you. You don't show anybody else. Well, he's showing us right now, but like you're not selling the art. You're not doing this to like showcase. And he goes, yeah, just like have some fun with it. Just sketch around. Like, why not? Like,
sketch around.
Like, you don't have to be an artist to draw or like scribble on paper. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, I just like had in my mind like, oh, I'm not like amazing at this thing, so like why would I do it and like show other people? But it just clicked with me. I was like, this is what I need. This is what I've been wanting this entire time, is a creative outlet. That's for me. It's like, I know how to draw. Like, I thought I was decent. Like, I did fine in high school, but so I didn't have like in my mind like, oh my god, I'm gonna like sell art eventually. I was like, oh, like let's just have some fun with this, like a sketchbook. Why not? So that next day, I went and bought a sketchbook. I got the markers. I got some other like rulers and supplies, and I just started filling up pages every day for however long. And I didn't show anybody for a year. I was just filling up my sketchbook, having fun with it. And then it wasn't until maybe fall of like 2019, so like fast forward a year, and me and three other friends were hanging out, and I brought over my sketchbooks. Like, we were having some fun. We were having a little, California sober fun. I'm like, oh, let me like share my sketchbooks. Could be fun to like share with them at this time. We're just hanging out. At this point, I'd filled out like 2 or 3, and they're just going through them, and I'm like, wow, this is like kind of a vulnerable moment. Like, I'd never shown anyone my art, and like, I call them doodles. They weren't like art by any means, but it's like I've never shown my doodles to people, and like they're just like, whoa, like this is really cool. Like, this is your art. This is just also like talented. Like, you like had one of like that drawing was in there. It's like, this is just like interesting to look at. You definitely have a style. And then my friend was like, yeah, dude, if this was on a hat, I would totally wear it. And one other one was like, yeah, dude, this could be on a t-shirt. Like, that'd be super cool. I'm like, whoa, that's giving me another idea. And so that next day, I just started like kind of planning out like, what does this look like? Just let's put a website together. Let's, I think I skipped a step. Let's digitize the art.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Adobe Illustrator and I just started playing around with that. And so I started recreating them on Adobe Illustrator and I put them on stickers. I was like, okay, like what's something what merch can I put this on that's not like a t-shirt where it's like, you know, I'm all in. It's like, let's just, and I started creating some of those stickers, like the one that looked like red blood cells that you saw, or the, there were some, those are all older ones. That circle one was like one of the OGs. And there were some other ones.
This one?
No, the red one. And
oh, this one.
Yeah, so that and like 3 other ones. Yeah. I just started gifting them to friends. Just started giving them out. I'm like, hey, like I just made this sticker. Like, you want one? And they're like, yeah. Started just to become like, I don't know, a fun thing to give people. Like a lot of people do stuff with stickers, put them on their water bottles, so why not? And then next thing you know, I like put the website together. I got T-shirts. I put them on hats. I put them on sweatshirts. Started going to artisan markets, farmers markets, selling them on the weekends. And it's just me as a one-man show. I just like, you know, you get the canopy, you get the sign, you put it all on the table, and it was cool. It was like teaching me about business all of a sudden. I'm like, oh man, like this is real. I'm collecting money from people. There's like expectations. Like I need like I'm shipping this to New York. I'm shipping this to California. Like this is real. And it was fun. I was balancing that with a full-time job on top of things. And so it was tough, like trying to balance it and like just like figure things out on my own. Like I didn't really think to like, oh, this is going to be a full-time thing. I thought if anything, like, okay, this might organically turn into something. I'm not going all in on this because I didn't like know what I was doing necessarily. I just wanted to have fun and with the art. And then slowly it started to feel more like I wasn't spending as much time drawing and creating as I once was, because I was just like spending time going to these events and I was like trying to, you know, make videos for my online presence, and I don't know, I found it kind of hard to balance it all. And this is all around the same time that I was moving to Austin, Texas. So I'm like, okay, I have a reason to pause this. I'm moving to Austin, Texas, packed it all up, and kind of just, I'd say fell out of it, but I honestly did. At least I don't have like an online presence with that brand anymore. Wasn't going to artisan markets anymore, even though Austin would have been perfect market for it. I moved from Dallas. I guess I skipped that part, but I was in Dallas, and Austin is like way more the vibe for these designs. And so I don't know. I get back into my creative space with content, and just realize like, oh, like I could showcase my art on the content again. It's been a while, but I could do that. And so I actually went live on TikTok. After I started to get some traction on TikTok, I started going live, and my friend, she joined the TikTok live, and she's like, hey, show us some of your art. And she had a completely different username. Like I had no idea it was her. And like, oh yeah, I do have sketchbooks I could show you guys on TikTok live. Like, oh yeah, this is my doodle. Like, and like people were eating it up. I was like, oh shit, like this is crazy. Like people are digging this. And like I got art commissions from TikTok live, and like people are giving me money, like make them custom art. I'm like, this could be like a thing. I wasn't charging enough money to make it a full-time thing. Like, I mean, I guess I could, like if I'm selling prints and making it a whole business, but I didn't have that mindset. Maybe it was a limited mindset in my looking back on it. But it was like another way to like reintroduce art to my life and just share that creative side and like get drawing again. And so I've done some commissions this year. I did a book commission, book cover design for my cousin's book. And I recently did a drawing commission for someone, and it fills my cup. I definitely want to. I've been so focused on work lately, and it sounds so cliche. I'm just so focused on my career right now.
It's a new job, though.
It's a new job, but it's like something that's actually paying the bills. And like once I get that business going, I do want to really dive deep into the art again. But at the same time, like, yeah, and I know I've been rambling at this point, but I think any creator.
You're rambling with a rambler? My goodness. Austin, shame on you.
Please sponsor us.
Rambling on
Please
a
sponsor
podcast.
Rambler.
What the hell?
Right. And so there's going to be a time where like I find that balance, or like reintroduce it, like really dive into it. But I think I've spoken with other creators about this, like artists and whatnot. It's like once you make art like a business, it definitely changes it a little bit, like how you view it. Like it just takes away time from actually the creative side, and like finding that balance is, it's important.
I hate that I'm about to say this, but I did not go on your website before tonight. Is your art for sale?
Yeah.
Just out of
I have some prints on there.
Just out of curiosity, have you ever felt or had the idea of taking like your personal favorite piece that's for sale and just tripling the price and seeing what happens?
You mean like a drawing of mine?
Yeah.
And just like selling the original. Is that what you mean?
Maybe not even the original. Just like if you're currently selling your prints for, I don't know how much, because like I said, I didn't visit your website. I apologize. But let's say you're selling them for, how much are you selling them for right now on average?
I mean, I'm not really selling any prints right now. You can buy some. You could probably buy them for like $20 or so. I definitely would need to get that number up.
Why not make it 60?
Yeah, that's a great question. Why not? These are cooler than just like some random, something you can find on like a Google like basic drawing. So I think I want to spend more time and like not just half-ass the whole art presence online, like really reintroduce it, or at least like give it the time that it deserves. But I think that you're onto something there.
Because if someone would pay 20 for any one of these, like, why would they not pay 60? Like, if I liked this picture so much that I wandered onto your site and it was 60, I'd still buy it.
Like a print of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's custom made by you.
Yeah.
It's something that, like you said, you don't see every day. And I feel like when people, I mean, that's part of the reason I do the puzzles is because I do like being, if you didn't get this from when I was describing the studio, I do like being unique. And like, how often do you walk into someone's home and 90% of the art that's on their wall is puzzles? So I would imagine that the people who are buying from you are probably doing it for a similar reason, whereas like this is catching their eye partly because there's something in one of these pictures that they gravitate towards.
Yeah.
But also like, you're not going to find this picture on a print at Target or Walmart or Home Goods or TJ Maxx.
Right.
This is super unique, bro.
Yeah.
You should triple those prices.
Oh, 100%.
After you call your mom. You can talk to mom on the way home, and then as soon as you get home, you take this picture, this super cool purple mountain with these V-shaped Indian tribal marks coming out.
That one's dope. That one would look great on a print, 100%. And I think where my mind goes is it comes down to like marketing it as well. Like there's just making content around it. I've done some videos like that. But now it's pumping it out on like the TikTok or the Instagram.
I know you said you're focused on work, but what is that caps at 40 hours a week, right?
Probably more, to be honest.
50?
Like, let's say 50.
So where are you not making the time?
You're right, because you everything's a choice. Like I'm choosing just how I spend my time. It's an interesting question. Like,
yeah, you don't need to answer now. It's just
where am I spending my time beyond that?
Right. It's too much time in those cold plunges.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, that's only 3 minutes, right? So from door back
At
to
least.
door, it's a 15-minute commitment. Because you change, walk out to the pool, jump in for 3, dry off, get back inside. I'm just giving you shit for that one. I do that myself. I went out to Barton Springs this
Nice.
morning. I was out there by 7, jumped in, swam a few laps, came back home.
That's what's up.
Yeah. It's just a question for you.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
I love what you're doing. And if it could turn into something and all you need to do is figure out, you know, where the time commitment is.
Yeah, that
It'll-
is.
It'll be easier once you start committing time to it. Just like this has been. This wasn't easy to find the time for. But now that I'm 125 episodes in, it's just like fucking second nature.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's like just shoot, like make it happen tomorrow. You don't have to like create this master plan. Just like see where you can make it, fit it in, and then next thing you know, like it's just happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make the time.
That's part of the reason I want you to triple your prices is because I think too that even
Yeah.
if you see a couple hits from that, it might help you start to believe where you're like, oh shit, I just had 2 people buy these $60 prints that I was selling for $20 last month. I do need to start working on this a little bit more. Maybe.
Yes, 100%. It's making me think that like I should be maybe a little bit more, it's like focused or purposeful about my schedule, like how I'm choosing to spend my time. Just not letting, like you were touching on earlier, it's like letting life happen to you. It's like you can be purposeful with what you're doing, but if you're also not being purposeful with how much time you are spending on these activities, then you know, how in control are you of that direction?
Yeah.
What other questions have you missed out on?
I think now that we covered BirdsEye Lifestyle, which I will put a link to that in the show notes in case anyone wants to go do some perusing, that's it.
Yeah, and I want everyone to, if there's like a message to leave, it's just like, I don't know if I'm the best example. It's like make time for those creative endeavors. You know, if you're an artist or want to work on something creative, like it doesn't have to be for business, but just for you, like creating something because you want to, just for the sake of it, is so important as well. Yeah.
Austin, good first episode, man. Great, excellent, amazing, fun first episode. Thank you again for being the most authentic version of yourself. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
You're a
thank
super cool dude. I'm honored to be in your circle in some capacity, and you and mine. You're definitely going to come back. I was going to say I don't go to Lifetime and you don't go to Gold's, but if you ever want to get a workout in together or whatever you want to do for fun, I'd love to see you off the podcast at some point too. Maybe we could even just meet at Barton one morning.
I would love
Take a
that.
dip together,
I
grab
would
some
love
coffee, and then go about our day or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could take me through a meaty workout, I bet.
I could take you, whatever you want, legs, chest. We could help you out with that.
Take me through.
You know what the secret is?
Steroids,
No, eat as much as you can.
testosterone. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's part genes, part I've been working out for 20 years, part I just eat all the food I can get my hands on. And
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That's
and
a
it's just fun to lift.
Yeah. All of those reasons.
Yeah.
I'd say eating is very important, but I know we're wrapping it up, so I'm excited for the next one.
I only have one more question for you. Before I ask, to the audience, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. As always, I super appreciate you. Do me a favor. One thing that I want to do for you guys is to always keep this podcast free. And the way that I can fight to make that happen to prevent any paywalls or subscriptions coming up in the future is if you're listening on Spotify tonight, hit that follow button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, follow there. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. And if you do this very small favor for me, which will take 10 seconds of your time and just cause you to get one push notification per week when an episode drops, my commitment to you is that I will keep finding great guests like Austin to tell their story to light your internal fire, hopefully share some laughs or even just provide some entertainment while you're driving to work or whatever it is that you're doing while you're listening to podcasts. So while I ask Austin this last question, go hit that follow or subscribe button.
Do it.
And Austin, my last question for you, a tradition that I've been trying to be more consistent at and not very good is, as you could probably imagine, I listen to a ton of podcasts. And whenever I hear a question that piques my interest, I jot it down and I ask it to one of my guests because I'm curious to see how they will answer. And the question that I have chosen to ask you, I believe I got this one from the podcast Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett, is the following. You can have a 60-second conversation with anyone in your life, but it is the last conversation you will ever have with them. Who do you talk with, and what do you say?
They have to be living?
I think so.
Like, just someone from my life.
Yep.
Interesting.
But it's the last one. Once you guys hang up or walk away from each other, you can never talk to them again.
Wow, that's a stumper.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Started with the hard one, who are you? And then ending with this ridiculous question.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's going to be... It's Michael. Fuck you, Michael.
Fresno Mikey, the twink.
All these callbacks. You know... I think I'm trying to think who's like someone I'm like okay with like never seeing again. Is that the right way to think about this? I don't know.
Is there like any exes where maybe it would give you an opportunity for some sort of like closure? Because that's sort of where my mind went the last time I heard it, was like, I don't have that example, but that's the thought that hit my head, was like, if I could talk to them, like, because it wouldn't be like my mom, right? Because I want to have many more conversations with her. Because that's the hardest part of the question, like you just said, is like, after this, we will never speak again, ever.
I've closed the doors with my ex, and don't need to reopen it. Not in a bad way, just like, but I'm trying to think.
I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
Yeah, it's like, that's been done. What is I'm thinking of like maybe an old friend or like a professor.
That's a good one. Maybe get some wisdom from someone. Is that the route you're thinking when you mentioned professor?
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I'd say like one of my old TCU professors. He was someone I really respected, and not that he might not even remember me, honestly.
Is there a specific professor coming to mind?
There's one.
What do you teach?
Some like supply chain class. It was like logistics maybe. I just thought he had a good head on his shoulders. If I'm never going to see him again, I don't want to like eliminate anyone else from my life, but yeah, I feel like he would have some wisdom to share and just some good life advice. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, Dr. Boone.
Dr. Boone.
Appreciate you.
The Boondog.
Boondog. Yeah, maybe next time I'm on the podcast, I'll have a better answer though.
But by then I'll have a whole different question for you.
Perfect. Bring it on.
All right. Austin, this has been so much fun. Guys, thank you as always for tuning in. I appreciate the hell out of all of you for sticking with us for... We did hit the 3-hour mark. My goodness.
Really?
That went by quick.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're at about 3 hours and 20 minutes right now, and I can't think of anything that we're going to cut out. So, yeah, nice long one for y'all. Save it for a road trip or something.
Even when you took that bathroom trip. Yeah.
That was like 60 seconds. That's not going to impact it too much.
No, to say, you won't want to...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's staying in. I don't know what
Maybe.
it is. Yeah, I won't know for about 3 weeks until I edit this thing, but I'll have something to look forward to now while I'm wearing my shirt and my hat.
There you go. Fuck yeah.
Excellent. All right, everyone. Have a great Saturday. Stay healthy. Stay happy. We'll see you next time. Be well.